Hello, everyone. Today is Saturday, the 26th of February, and this is Don Brian Young standing in for Mr. Brown this evening. I hope you're all very, very well. Many apologies for the late start. We had some technical difficulties, which is kind of code for me saying I made a complete hash of the whole thing. Now, in a week that has brought nothing but conflict and bad news, we hope to brighten up your Saturday evening with a light-hearted, feel-good family movie. That's right, our discussion is The Godfather, which incredibly turns 50 next month. Our very own Godfather, Mr. Brown, has to deal with some serious family issues, so I have been drafted in at the last moment to cover. On a positive note, at least we won't have to kiss his ring. There'll be no musings this week. We'll just get right into the main feature. We've got a stellar panel tonight, well-behaved and entirely self-regulating, so let's welcome them on. First up, she's the Princess of Xanadu, but she's the queen of this channel. All the way from Texas, it's Reni A.
What up, Brian?
Hi, Reni. How's things?
Doing good. Very excited about this movie, and I just wanted to say, for the record, we missed you last week, or I did.
That's very kind of you, Reni. I've not been very well, as you all know.
I know. I felt really bad, but I'm glad you're doing better, and I'm glad you're here today. So,
I was hoping to kind of take maybe this week off as well to try and recuperate fully, but sadly not. Or should it be fortunately not? I'm not quite sure.
Depends on how the stream goes.
Well, it's not started very well. Let's put it that way. So the only way is up, as they say. Okay, do you know what the next question is?
Shall we bring the next guest on? I say, do it.
Yes, why not? Okay, next up, he's the jester from Leicester, the channel's very own interior design specialist, novelist, Star Wars fan, and meme machine. It's Demon Scythe Swap Shop.
Well, hello, everybody. Are we all doing all right tonight?
Hi, Matt. How's things?
Good to have you back as well.
Good to chat to everyone again. Yes, I was busy for the last week or so, but glad to get back on again and talk about a film that I've never seen in my life before, apart from in tiny slices when I was about 10 years old, and it traumatized me. Yeah,
really?
I thought you would have had this down pat, Matt. I didn't realize this was you were doing the same thing as I was and scrambling at the last minute.
Yeah, I've just never been into mafia type movies, but sitting back and watching this one, I quite enjoyed it. So maybe I was wrong all this time to avoid them. I don't know, but I'm usually a lasers and explosions guy. So this is quite a departure for me, I think.
Okay. Do you know what the next question is?
Absolutely no idea, but I think you should get whoever's out onto the stream because they're probably waiting. So get on with it. Yeah, go on.
Okay, next from New York, and so good we named him twice. Start spreading the news because he's not leaving today. It's PCat.
Hey, PCat.
How's everything going, everybody?
Hey,
not bad. How's your good self, sir?
Good, and even better, getting to talk about my all-time favorite movie.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
So going from one extreme to the other.
This and part two, I mean, combining it is just, to me, I never, ever grow tired of it. Seen it more times than any other movie in my life. I mean, probably even more if you combine the second biggest movie I've watched over and over again. Probably, and the third biggest and the fourth biggest wouldn't equate to the amount of times I watched The Godfather.
Right, good stuff. In the meantime, we appear to have lost Reni A, I'm afraid.
Hopefully she's not sleeping with the fishes.
Well, fingers crossed. In the meantime, I think, shall we get the next guest out, PCat?
Do it.
Okay, last and by no means least, she's got more M's in her name than Eminem itself. God, who wrote this script? It's Miss Martin Muses.
Hi. That was a great introduction.
Hello, Miss Martin. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Well, you said the jester from Leicester, and I'm thinking, if you're following Leicester City, I don't know. I was just watching, the table where they're playing Chelsea this Tuesday, but I hope they do well. But we're here to talk about The Godfather. I'm fierce excited about this because I read this book first before I saw the movie.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I saw the movie first and then read the book.
Yeah. I was
Yeah,
13
same.
years old, and I have no idea why my parents let me read it.
Mm.
I was like, what's wrong with you? And
What kind of parents are you?
I mean, we
Matt,
had
did
the
you
book.
manage to read the book in the 15 minutes between watching the end of the film and starting the stream?
Oh, someone's charming. No, it was quite a while ago. They had the book. I'm thinking they probably didn't even know I was reading it. I'm the youngest child. They didn't give a crap about anything by the time I came around. I could do whatever I wanted. You know, as long as I didn't die by the end of the day, I guess I was okay.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, doke. As I said before, we've got no musing, so we're just gonna have to get straight into it.
Do it.
I don't think an awful lot's happened this week anyway, has it, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Plus,
well,
instead of focusing on the negatives, we can focus on fun.
yes, I think that's the way to go. 50 years, can you believe it?
Right?
No.
Okay, here's the blurb to start us off, and then, well, I'm hoping I can just let you guys continue, and I'll just flick with the slides and stay quiet for the rest of the evening, if that's okay.
Oh, okay. Oh, you
Okay.
think you're Mr. Brown today, huh?
Yes, it's going to be a minimal effort stream from me. Okay,
Right,
The Godfather.
Just remember to smack your lips a lot during the stream. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh.
How are you, Brian? No, I'm sorry. That was-
Oh my gosh.
Don't kill me, Brown. It's all out of love.
If this stream gets killed off, we know that Brown's finally taken the hump and killed the channel. That's it, of course. If I don't kill the channel first, the way it's going. Okay, doke. The Godfather. Now then, here's the blurb. The Godfather, released in the USA on the 14th of March 1972 by Paramount Pictures. I believe it was then on general release just about 10 days later. It's directed by Francis Ford Cappola. The movie was based on the 1969 novel by Mario Puzo. The screenplay was co-written by Coppola and the novel's author. It stars Marlon Brando, Al Pacino, James Caan, Robert Duvall, Diane Keaton, among others. What a cast. Music is by Nino Rota. The budget was between $6 million and $7.2 million. And the box office took between $246 million and $287 million.
Dang.
Doing the rounds first up before we start the slides. What was your first experience of this movie, and what were your thoughts at the time? I'll start off with Mrs. Martin Muses.
Well, as I said, I read the book before I saw the movie, so my impressions were tainted a little bit by what I had read, because there were some differences as usual in them, and I didn't quite understand some of the stuff that was going on. I also learned later that while my parents let me read the book or didn't know I read the book, when it came time to see the movie, I actually was shown a edited version. I didn't realize how much sex and nudity and F-bombs and stuff was actually in it until much, much later. So it was edited. That was back in the day where they used to do that. They used to release like the rated R versions and then the rated PG versions. So
Yeah.
yeah, but definitely it is a masterpiece. I was incredibly engrossed in the whole story, especially how Michael Corleone, his transformation to a cold-blooded killer by the end. It's like, damn.
Yeah. Matt, are you there? Are you with us?
I am. I'm listening.
Thoughts?
Well, from what I've seen of the film, and I haven't seen all of it yet, I'm really, really enjoying it. But my earliest memories of this, because obviously it's been around for a while, it's probably born. I was probably born about a year after it was released, something like that, a year or two after it was released. And so it was on TV. It was getting shown on TV, every few years or so when I was about sort of 9-10 years old. So my dad watched it whenever it was on TV, because we're talking way before videos. So I'd sort of walk through to the lounge and pick up some Star Wars figures, then walk back out again. And every so often I'd happen to walk through the lounge whenever there was a ridiculously violent bit happening. So my first introduction to The Godfather, the first movie, was seeing a horse's head at the bottom of the bed and blood everywhere.
Oh,
and
jeez.
And that was just on TV. And then there was a guy screaming, and I was just traumatized forever. Every single morning I woke up for a year after that, I thought there was a dead horse at the bottom of my bed. My feet were going to be covered in blood. So yeah, I was like, that really got to me at that age. But yeah, I mean, watching it again, I've thankfully I'm cured of that bane in my brain from all those years ago. And I knew what was going to happen when it came up anyway, but I've seen lots of mafia stuff since then, and I'm kind of like, yeah, that's what they do, you know. So it just adds to the whole sort of ruthlessness and the darkness of what goes on without any kind of emotional consequence whatsoever. And yeah, well, that scene was my earliest experience with it. So up until now, that's probably the reason why I've never watched it again, to be honest with you. I don't want to go back to that. Oh no, because I love horses as well. So you know.
Oh God.
Yeah, but I could tell it wasn't a real horse's head. So, and you're going to tell me now that they actually used a real horse's head, aren't you? That's what you're going to do. Trivia. You're going to come out with they actually did use a real. No.
Yep.
But yeah, that's my first experience anyway. But yeah, that's pretty good so far.
Okay, PCat, first experience of this movie, and what were your thoughts at the time?
Oh man, I very young, probably a little too young to at the time fully grasp and appreciate its greatness. But being from an Italian family, between my parents and my aunt and uncle and another aunt and uncle and cousins,
I can hear it in your voice. I can hear it.
It was always on. And my first experience, I didn't see it probably the way everybody else initially saw it. I saw it in what was the re-edited chronological version, which had extra scenes in it. So for years and years, I just grew up watching this version. So when I see now the regular version on TV, I get distracted by saying, oh, they cut this scene out, they cut that scene out, this line of dialogue, Robert Duvall's dialogue was cut out. But it was always on. And we had, we were lucky enough to have a VCR, and we had a lot of movies on tape. But the only movies that were used by far more than anybody that we basically wore the videotapes were the original Jaws and The Godfather. Those are the movies that were constantly on all the time.
But the version I watched was the 4K Coppola remastered edition, and I seem to think that things were slightly out of kilter from the first version I watched many years ago. I wonder if that explains why it was so. Reni, are you with us?
Yes, I am. So I was kind of snacking, but anyway, you guys hear me crunching. I was a little hungry. My food came late, so there we go. But yeah, my first experience, I was a teenager. Absolutely loved it. My parents were afraid to show me too much violence. Because I've always been like afraid of gore, but I'm like, there's really no gore, and even the gunshots aren't bad. But absolutely loved it. A little bit of trivia for you guys. Mario Puzo also wrote the screenplay for the first Superman movie with Christopher Reeve. So there you go. Mm-hmm. And then shortly after, I want to say in my early 20s, I read the book, and I was really astonished and just amazed at how good of an adaptation this was. So not only does the book encompass the first one, but it also encompasses the second one, at least with Vito's story. So I thought that was really cool. So yeah, I think they did a great job with the adaptation. There had to be some changes, but they got Luca Brasi like perfect. I mean, I just could not picture anybody playing the roles that they played, even though James Caan is an Italian. Marlon Brando is an Italian. I still thought they did a great job with playing the roles that they played, because you wouldn't guess it by watching this movie. So all around amazing. One of my absolute faves. It's a timeless classic. And ever since like my late 20s, early 30s, I've been watching this every stinking year.
Really?
Could have been earlier.
Faithfully?
Yeah. Love it. Every February.
Okay, we have about 4 billion slides to go through, so I think we better kick it off without.
Yeah,
much
thanks,
further-
Brown.
Paramount Pictures here we go. Presents Mario Puzo's The Godfather. And there we
I
have
believe in
the
America.
start, where the gentleman is asking for some help, having completely ignored Marlon Brando for long enough. Incidentally, have you all seen the photographs of Marlon Brando's before and after with the makeup for this?
No,
Yeah, and
I know he
there's
had to
even
wear
some
a
video of it.
mouthpiece.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't, I would highly recommend looking at it because it's truly incredible. Because you look at it and clearly you think he's a hell of a lot older.
He said
And he is,
something
but-
about like he thought that the Don should look like a bulldog, so they
Mhm.
made him a mouthpiece that kind of made him look like a bulldog. So I thought that was interesting.
You know, the way he transformed himself looking much older, there was actually talk for a small amount of time of him actually playing the younger version of his own character in Godfather 2, since he was able to, they felt he could have pulled it off with his looks because obviously he wasn't as old as he looked in the first movie, but I guess there were issues with his him behind the scenes too, so they went with De Niro.
Yeah, they weren't offering him enough money, and he was being a doucher in a big enough
Mhm.
role.
Yep.
And they were even going to give him a small cameo in the birthday party at the end of number 2. He was like,
Yep.
"Nah, more money." They were
Yep.
like, "Nah, forget you." So
James Caan was the smartest one of all. He held them up for a good amount of money, and without him, then the scene really didn't work.
yeah, I loved him as Sonny. I really did.
Shane Nolan in the chat says that Brando wasn't paid for this movie. That's pretty incredible.
I've never heard that. I think he got paid, but I think he got paid on the back end. Isn't that how
Yeah.
they did it? Yeah.
Yeah, because initially the studio rejected every time Coppola asked. He wanted Brando; that was his only choice, and they wanted him to put up a bond to guarantee that he would show up for work because he had a really bad reputation. So he agreed to do all that in order to get the role.
Question from the Little Platoon. That's a question for Reni and Reni A. Ms. Martin Muses. Which is the better adaptation, The Godfather or Lord of the Rings?
Oh.
Well,
Oh, that's
it's apples
hard.
It's apples and oranges. You really can't
Split them.
compare the two, if you know what I mean. But if I were to say what is probably a better adaptation, for my personal opinion, I would go with The Godfather only because I think that the Godfather movies, especially the franchise, when you consider 1 and 2, is superior to the book. It's far more iconic and deeper than the actual book. Well, when you're looking at the Lord of the Rings, you're talking about one of the greatest works of literature in the past 500 years, and
Yeah,
nothing will ever be able to do justice to that.
PCat, you have admin privileges on this, don't you?
I believe I do.
Keep an eye in the chat for us, would you? Be so kind, and if there's anything you think you would like to bring up, go
Sure.
for it.
I do
okay?
want to
Got it.
say, for me, it's equal. I think, Teresa, I definitely would agree with that. Tolkien being the better writer than Puzo. But yeah, the adaptation for The Godfather was pretty dang close. But at the same time, you really can't compare the two. So I would just call it a draw for me. I don't think I can choose.
Yep, fair enough.
Okay, comment up. PCat, do you want to read this out for us?
Sure. Matt G in the chat says that's why he could, meaning Brando, can play himself in The Freshman, a parody of himself, because he looked legitimately as old in 1990 as they made him look in 1972. And that was another great movie, too, The Freshman.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun to watch.
Okay. Show me no respect.
And you come to me today, the day of my daughter's wedding, to ask me
Yeah.
this favor.
Never once did you invite me over for even a cup of coffee.
Exactly.
Shocking. Shocking behavior.
Yeah. Now the kitty cat isn't it true that the kitty cat wasn't really supposed to be in this scene and they just decided to add it
Yep.
to give him something to hold?
There's even more to that because apparently it was. I guess I'm not a cat person, not full pro or against, but I don't. But they say it was purring so much. I'm assuming because it was comfortable with Brando, that they had to actually have Brando dub over his lines again because it was interfering in into his dialogue on the camera catching it or hearing it, I should say.
Well, when
And
you look
probably-
at this slide, look at that cat. That cat is comfortable.
Yep.
Probably interfere with the cuts as well, with the sound.
Oh yeah.
I'll do it for you anyway, because I'm a stand-up guy. I think that's how the line goes, isn't it? It's not too far away from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then sure, isn't he like, but I'm going to ask you a favor later.
And true to
Until
form,
that
he is
day.
brought in later on. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like Robert Duvall.
He was very understated in this film, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very well played.
Yes.
They used his, I guess, his hair or lack thereof as the way to show time going by, starting off with the wig, and
Yeah.
by the end showing him bald.
Yeah.
There really isn't a bad performance in this entire film, is there?
Not at all.
No, not really. No.
Even Talia Shire acts pretty good. Oh, there we are. There's her scumbag of a husband.
Oof.
PCat, feel free to read these out when you bring them up.
Sure. I just like Tyrone's comment in the chat. The cat looks like it has 6 or 7 Valium.
Oh man, that man of mine.
Family photograph time. Where's Michael? And shortly before the photographers launched out, and the FBI show up.
Yeah. Taken.
They get greeted by Sonny.
Mhm.
Sonny, oh my gosh. He is such a hothead.
Girl,
Mhm.
yes. He is crazy.
Yeah.
So
Oh, and
well
she-
played by Khan.
Yeah.
Sorry, Teresa.
And she goes, this part of it, getting all that money she got. Oh my gosh. In the book, I know that they had that her husband wanted the money, and so he gave her a black eye that night. And they said she gave up her virginity more willingly.
Oh boy.
Damn.
Yikes.
Yikes, indeed. And there's the photographer taking the photograph of the wrong person, so he's politely escorted off the premises.
Yep.
Yeah, I do wonder what happened to him after.
Made him an offer he can't refuse.
Yeah.
PCat, feel free just to chime in when you bring these up.
The little platoon, he says he's sure he read somewhere that they invited real mafioso to the wedding scene in this, and Brando got drunk and mooned them.
Nice.
Well, I mean, there is real mafia connections in this movie behind the scenes too. They had to actually get script approval, and they had to actually deal with the actual New York mob while they were to get this movie made.
Wow.
And Gianni Russo, who played Carlo, was one of the buffers between the studio and the mob.
Yeah, I
Jeez.
thought I read that somewhere. I'm like, this can't be true.
Yeah, and he has there's a book he wrote, Gianni Russo, I think about 2 years ago, and it's really good. And he's done you could find a ton of his interviews on YouTube talking about a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, about how he was being the buffer between the mob and the studio. And there's a great story about how he threatened to kill Marlon Brando because Brando wanted him fired because Brando didn't think he could be a good actor because he wasn't an actor.
Mm.
Holy crap.
Mm. Do these people all have a death wish? I
Yeah.
was gonna say, it's like, if it's the real mob.
Well, yeah. You know, the funny thing is with Brando and him, it was at they were doing the table readings. So Brando was asking him questions like, have I seen you anywhere? Have you done Broadway? And he would say, no. Have you done TV? No. On and on and on. So in front of Gianni Russo, he goes to Coppola and says, we need to get rid of this guy. He's not an actor. He's going to bring the picture down. So Gianni Russo grabs him, talks into his ear, and then tells him, I'm going to cut your heart out and I'm going to suck on it. And a few more expletives he threw in there.
Jeez, they're
And
all really
Brando-
getting into character,
yeah.
aren't
Brando thought he was acting,
Oh no.
and Brando thought he was brilliant. He goes, that's brilliant.
they?
not realizing that he was really threatening him. Brando
Oh
thought he
my
was
God, what?
acting, and that was the end of that, and he was in the movie.
Excellent.
Jeez.
Yeah, no, thank you. They're
What?
like,
You
"Brandon's
meant
getting
that?
us
I
all
thought you were
killed."
acting.
Marlon Brando.
Here's another gentleman coming with a request. Many requests this day. The man's daughter's wedding as well. No respect.
Esri
No respect.
Baker.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, how many people does he get coming up to him on a day like this? He's obviously got to be busy with his daughter, but he's back in there now. 5 minutes later, some other guy begging him for assistance. I thought, geez, you're going to get a chance to do anything.
Yeah. Well,
That's
that's what
a
happens.
curious-
Tradition.
Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say tradition because so he can't refuse a request on his daughter's wedding day, so they're all taking advantage.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay,
Yes.
sorry.
No
Right.
Sicilian can refuse a request on the day of his daughter's wedding.
Yep.
Possibly the fact they're all together as well.
Yeah.
You know, if there's any reason for them all to be where they are, it would be go under the radar.
Mm.
I think. Happy times, the introduction of Michael.
Yeah. NK.
And there's Luca Brasi rehearsing his speech
Dawn.
At the back.
Corleone.
Mhm.
before being interrupted. By
Yeah, that's where he tells her the story, right? About either your brains or your signature is going to be on the contract.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, that
That's
was a
a true
great
story.
story.
Yep.
And,
And
she
then-
gets creeped out by Luca Brasi, like rehearsing his speech to the Don. She's like, he's creeping me out. He's like, oh no, he's fine.
Yeah. And then
Yep.
Michael's like, "That's my family. It's not me." I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't give a
yeah.
crap. I would get so out of there.
Yeah. Yep.
It was
obviously-
fun
she-
knowing you.
She's very naive, isn't she? I think.
Yeah.
I don't think she was as naive in the book, at least later on in the
Mm.
storyline in the book. They made her a little more naive even to the end of the movie.
No,
Mm.
she just really loved Michael.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it was kind of love's blind, isn't it? So, you know.
Eh. And apparently dumber than a rock.
Mm.
I love him. Like, yeah.
Jacob Ironside in the chat says to Shane Nolan, interesting. The book is most of the time better than the movie. They did a
Usually
good
is.
job making it into a movie. I think we'd all agree on that one. For sure.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think because they expanded on the story so much, you can say that the movie's actually better than the book on this one. That's just my opinion. Like what Teresa said earlier, they just did such a great job with it. The acting was just so amazing. And what they embellished with in the story, I find the movies way more enjoyable than the book, at least 1 and 2.
Well, some of the stuff that was in the book was, one can see, was superfluous
Mm.
because they did a whole subplot thing with the chick who was screwing Sonny and the singer. They became lovers or something
Yeah.
later. and
Yeah.
a whole plot there that I can see why.
You talking
Yeah,
about
that
Johnny
could be dropped.
Fontaine?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that could be dropped.
Yeah.
Ms. Martin, correct. I don't. You probably know the book better than I do because I read it when I was young too. Didn't they open up with like this really elaborate? I guess it would be too sexy for a movie at the time, where Johnny Fontaine and his lady were getting it on and having a very violent argument. It just sticks out in my mind for some reason.
I don't quite recall. I know this. Well, the sex scene with Sonny and the bridesmaid was something else.
Here's Luca giving his shocking speech.
Mm.
Bit of singing.
Mama Corleone,
That's right. Mrs. Corleone.
Yeah.
who was a jazz singer in real life.
Mm.
Yes.
Morgana King, yeah.
Yeah, that's some good trivia right there.
Mm-hmm.
Here he is, the superstar.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the scene coming up with him.
Yeah, they're all giving the autographs. It's like, oh my gosh.
Oh my God, it's Johnny Fontaine.
I love that. It's so cheesy, like that 40s, like swooning over the over the singer, like that
Yeah.
Frank
And I was
Sinatra-esque.
Sure, wasn't he inspired by Frank Sinatra?
I think
That's
so. Like
That's what they
I was
say.
thinking,
Yeah.
I was thinking they kind of made him a combination between Sinatra and Dean Martin.
Yeah.
Dean Martin was the first guy I thought about when I saw him.
Yeah.
Yeah, their connections with the mob, the
Yeah.
singer, and
Social
This
Sinatra,
must be where they got the name for Vic Fontaine from in Deep Space Nine. Then I should think.
Probably.
the club singer guy in the holodeck. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I loved him.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
great.
and the odd thing is, he was actually, the character was supposed to be played by Frank Sinatra Jr. who
Wow.
Oh,
wasn't
really?
able to pull it off. So yeah, so there's your Cole comes around in a circle.
Nice.
This reminded me of one of the scenes in Quantum Leap. Remember when Sam's got to
Yes.
sing?
I was thinking that.
Another one?
I was thinking
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Similar kind of way it's filmed.
Oh, there she
This
is.
is the bit
Look how
Rennie was talking
young.
about. Story.
She's a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a while ago. Have a drink and then tell us some truths.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's where he tells the story.
Yeah.
Hey, honey.
We may have to motor on through these slides because we're
Sure.
30 minutes
Yeah.
in and we-
You know Brown. He's like, oh, I only took 1,000 pics.
Wait a minute. It's
Yeah.
200,000 pics.
Yeah.
Can any of you name the film that Al Pacino and Freddie here both star in?
Dog Day Afternoon.
Well done.
I was
10
just gonna say
points
that.
to
Movie. Excellent
PCat.
movie.
I was just going to say that. I was watching this and I was just thinking, man, I want to see Dog Day Afternoon again now. Because again, I was like a little kid when I first saw it. So I really want to see that.
What a shame he passed so young, John Cazale.
Mm.
Holy man, I think
Yeah.
what, five or six movies at most.
Didn't he passed a year or two after Godfather 2, right?
He made it. I think that Deer Hunter was his last movie, and that was what, 78. So yeah, Godfather 2 was what, 74,
Okay.
and Deer Hunter was like later on, like 77-ish. So yeah, but not long after. You're right. I mean, a lot of the people in The Godfather passed away not long after the movie.
Yeah.
There is. Sorry, what's the singer's name?
Johnny Fontaine.
Fontaine.
Johnny
like-
Fontaine.
I can't get this part in the movie. It told me it won't give it to me. What do I do? And he's like, you can be a man.
Yeah, right.
I love that scene.
He's not
Yeah.
slapping him
What's
about.
the matter
isn't
with you?
He grabs him by the collar. You can be a man. Love it. Sorry.
And
No,
then
that's
seeing
okay.
Robert Duvall's reaction on screen when the camera cuts to him, he's almost like holding back his laughter.
he? Yeah,
It's great.
I saw that. Yeah.
He's like, holy crap.
Well, this is where the Sinatra connection comes in, because in the 50s, Frank Sinatra was on the downside of his career before his big comeback. And he got a movie called From Here to Eternity, war picture, just like Fontaine is looking to get a part in. And Fontaine says, it'll resurrect my career. That's what happened with Sinatra in the 50s. He got the part in the movie, and he won the Best Supporting Actor.
Nice.
Sorry, I'm not going to leave it that slide while PCat was talking there. I think we'll motor on past that one.
No.
I don't know what that one's about.
Sonny out of breath.
What's the matter with you?
I'm going to make him an offer
Wedding.
he can't refuse, Johnny.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that is one hell of a cake.
Oh, yeah.
Or wedding pics.
The old
Talk
football
amongst
wedding.
yourself, boys and girls. Have to switch the slides about.
Okay, I was
They
going
all-
to say, just waiting for you to switch the slide, bro. But yeah.
That's what they call old football weddings, Italian weddings, where you would, if you remember earlier on in the wedding scene when the guys are asking for food, they're tossing the food around to each other, and that's how they got the nickname in the in the Italian circles as a football wedding, outdoor, and you just basically just tossing the food around to each other,
Oh, never heard of
sandwiches
that.
and whatever. Yeah, goes back to
Speaking of tossing the food around, Rennie, are you getting yourself fully sustenance there?
Oh, what made you say that? I know. I keep putting myself on mute to try to keep it down, but yeah. And so yeah, like I said, my lunch arrived late, and now they threw in a cookie, so I'm eating the cookie. But yeah,
And
anyways,
here we have Hagen Goes to Hollywood.
Mhm.
Sort it out.
Love the music too in this when the sequence starts. waltz.
Is it Roger Rabbit, that scene?
Yeah.
Mm.
What about those Brooklyn Dodgers? Are they bums or what? There he is, the big I am of Hollywood. Harvey Weinstein of...
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Thinks he's the bee's knees, but he's about to be found out.
I love this back and forth. I won't say the words, the ethnic slurs that just come out of Waltz's mouth, but the way he just shoots him out when he first thinks Hagen is Italian and he uses the Italian slurs. He goes, "I'm German Irish," and then he just boom hits him with the German and Irish slurs.
Yeah.
There's that comment from that Nigel movie guy. Sidney Arthur Lumet was a genuine gentleman genius, and some have said that The Afternoon was arguably Pacino's best work. Sorry, not Pacino. Lumet's best work.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a line from Swordfish I just slipped into there. I'm terribly sorry. Anyway, moving on. Who do you think you are? What about this for a pad? A house?
Yeah, I thought that a lot in this film.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Some of the scenes they picked. Imagine that was your back garden. And here we have it. Poor horsey.
The horse.
$600,000.
That's probably peanuts today, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't understand how somebody can pay that much for a horse. That's insane.
Yeah.
If he's sending out to stud, he's not exactly doing it for a financial benefit, is he? Comparison.
Yeah.
There we are.
There's Augustus.
Feel free to chime in, folks, with your thoughts on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I just love it. You know, you got the consigliere, and this guy is so stupid and arrogant.
Typical Hollywood.
Well,
They
and he
got
gives that
very
speech.
accurate.
He's like, this role would be perfect for Johnny, but I'm not going to give it to him because he stole this chick from me. And I'm like, damn. I mean, he had a good reason, but at the same time, if Vito Corleone wants you to do something, you do it.
Exactly. Look at him pointing his finger and threatening him, and Robert Duvall's going, "This dumb son of a bitch."
Exactly. It's like, well, good luck with that, friend.
I just love how calm he is. Thank you for a pleasant evening. Now, if your driver can take me back to the airport. Mr. Corleone is a man who likes to hear bad news right away.
That's a theme that runs through this whole film, and it just makes it more unsettling, that polite, respectful, just go, I'm going to kill you tomorrow. Oh dear.
Yeah, here we go.
I think Brown's put about 4 slides here for this one.
Yeah. So he wakes up and he's like, am I bleeding? What's going on here?
That's what I thought when I first saw it. Yeah, I was thinking, oh my God, what?
What did they do to him, right? Did they take a kidney while he was sleeping?
Yeah.
Did they do organ harvesting back then?
It's an early Saw movie.
Yeah.
And then he screams like a bitch.
Yeah, I think I would too.
Well, yeah, I think it's Mr. Ed.
There is something kind of pantomime horse about that.
Yep.
Yeah. He was hoarse from screaming about his horse.
Oh dear. Welcome to Jokes from Top Secret from Reni.
I love how
Scream continues into the next scene.
Yep, it fades away, and then it just cuts right into Don Corleone again, just sitting there. Yep.
Yeah.
Don't mess with the mob.
Nope.
Tell
He's
him.
getting the Salazzo notes.
Anyone want to talk their way through this scene for us? Anyone?
They're talking about the upcoming drug deal, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Virgil Salazzo, the Turk.
Yeah. So, like, Don Corleone's like, I don't want to bring drugs into my business. That's not my thing. And then Tom tries to tell Don Corleone the reasons why he should do it and why it would be good for the business. He's like, no, don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
Tyron in the chat letting the side down from the previous slide we had.
Oh dear. Why?
Oh boy.
Man. I mean, I can understand why Don Corleone is like, no, don't want to be dealing with drugs, but he just wasn't moving with the cheese.
Yeah, it's just the old school mentality.
Yeah, do you think it gives him almost a kind of makes him slightly
Integrity?
more sympathetic as a character? Yeah.
There aren't many
so.
sympathetic characters, are there? Really?
No, but that just gives him something for you to kind of hold on to. I think.
Because you are looking for something, I suppose.
Well, I find him to be sympathetic when what happens to him shortly after the meeting.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Something about this guy just makes your skin crawl the second he's on the screen.
Yeah, but he's so good though. In his
Salasso.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, credit to the actor for the performance, obviously.
Yeah.
And of course, this is the who of Italian actors in Hollywood.
Yep.
Yeah.
Passed away not long after this movie too. I think within a year or two.
Huh.
Did he?
Yeah.
There was an awful lot of older kind of cameos from actors in it, and some of the scenes with the gangsters are all together.
Yeah.
They passed away. Thanks, but no thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Courtesy of Don Corleone.
Yeah.
Also, this is
Mic
where
drop.
we see the first signs of Sonny being a bit too lippy for his own good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is where Daddy gives him a bit of a smackdown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's like, bro, not cool.
Don't let anybody outside the family know what you're thinking.
Yeah. Said smackdown.
Yep. You're playing too much karma with that young girl. There's poor Luca getting his final instructions.
Final indeed. Yeah.
He was a professional
So
wrestler
loyal.
too in real
Oh,
life.
really?
Yeah. Yep.
I love
Actually,
the
he was
character.
a fairly big name too in wrestling. I guess back in the 50s, 60s, into late 60s. He was a fairly big wrestler for his day.
I just love the character of Luca Brasi. In the book and in the movie, he's like super loyal.
Mhm.
Like, that's one thing about like the mafia or any movies or stories regarding the mafia. You see everybody basically betraying everybody else. He's one of the few characters that actually stays true, has ethics, does not turn his back on his Don or on his family, so to speak. So I really do admire the character. Dumb as a box of rocks, but just a really, really loyal guy.
Yeah, he was a lot more even hardcore in the book. He did one thing in the book that stands out in my mind that was very, very dark. I think when it came to his girlfriend who had a baby.
Oh, I don't recall that.
Yeah, I don't
You have to
remember
tell
that.
us now. You have
I
to
was going to say,
elaborate
don't
if you
stop
can.
there.
I know.
Well, apparently he took the baby and he threw the baby in an oven.
Ooh.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't remember all of it.
Was she cheating on him? Because he wouldn't have done that.
It was. He was really dark in the book. I mean, loyal, like you said, though, loyal. I mean, the most loyal person he had, but he was very dark in the book. I mean, again, I haven't read it in so long, but that's like an image that just was burned in my brain, like reading like he took the baby.
I'm gonna
and
have to
shoved it in the
reread that
oven.
because
Yeah.
I want to say Luca had a good reason for doing that. The people he loved, he was loyal to.
Been a little tough, I guess, especially back in 1972, showing a scene like that in the movies. You could probably get away with it now because you can get away with anything now.
Yeah.
Cruel Barab in the chat says, if you like mob films, the HBO Gotti film with Armand Assante is great. Anyone seen that?
It's a good
No.
movie.
I remember Armando Sante. He was something else.
It's a very good movie. That was a good HBO movie. Much better than the Travolta version of it, which I recommend you stay away from.
Oh.
That was bad.
Let me see.
Give that a
Everybody
look.
Google.
Cruel.
Yeah.
It's Christmas time.
Christmas time.
There's no
man,
need to be afraid.
They made the city look so good in this.
I love the 80s, right? Okay.
All smiles, but not for long, Michael.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to experience New York in the 40s at Christmas. I really would.
Yeah, back before everything was completely gone straight to hell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on here? I'm not quite
There's
sure.
Lucas putting on his bulletproof vest and preparing to meet with.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Because
Mhm.
I'm having a hard time seeing the image, so that's I'm like,
Yeah.
what? It's very dark.
Yeah, he's preparing for his meeting with Bruno Tattaglia and Salazzo.
Yeah.
He's gun sorted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There he
Top
is.
slide selection there, Brown.
Yeah. Like, dang.
Is Bruno and Salazzo.
Yeah.
So you're not happy with the Corleone family?
It was
Yep.
like, yeah, no. And so they give him a drink, and what do they do to him?
Pats
Sort
him
of
on the
crazy,
hand.
isn't it?
Yep.
Pats him on the hand, knifes the hand, and strangles him to death.
Yeah.
His
You remember
eyes,
too
all
earlier
giant.
they sort of preview like as they tell how Salazzo he's really is they're giving his background, he's really good with the knife. And then
Yeah.
boom, knife goes in the hand.
That reminds me
Broke
of
my
the
heart.
the Craze movie when that came out like years back. Similar thing happens in the one of the pool tables in that, as I recall.
Ooh,
That face.
Oh, what a picture. Oh, my God.
Mm.
it's just
so
found out how much the
sad.
Star Wars Galactic Cruise is going to cost them.
Yeah, right.
I just hate
Sorry,
that
Reni.
scene because I really like Luca. You know, I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
But yeah.
In the film, I mean, I suppose it's long enough, but you felt as if there was going to be more to his story in the film, and it just didn't seem to come to much at all,
Yeah.
other than swimming with the fishes.
Yeah.
Bruno Tattaglia.
Ouch!
Yep.
Yeah, that just hurts.
Yeah.
And there is Hagen doing a bit of Christmas shopping and bumps into
Yeah, Tom
the
Hagen.
lads.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What? Brown, what is that? What's that slide?
There's
And
the Don.
the Dawn buying some fruit.
Yep. Has to go
These
get some
oranges.
stupid oranges.
Yep.
Yep. And who should see him?
Here come the assassins.
Yep.
Couple of wise guys.
And then
Yeah.
Freddie, who was taking over for his driver, I think not Cheech.
Paulie.
Polly.
Paulie,
Paulie,
thank
yeah.
you.
Paulie
That,
called
yeah,
in
Cheech
sick.
is
Yep.
in the next movie. But yeah, so he takes over for the driver, drives the Dawn there. Then when they start firing shots, he's like, ah, with the gun and drops it. I'm like,
Yeah, he loses
why?
his crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watching
Worst
this, I thought that.
bodyguard ever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watching it, I actually thought he was in on it, the way he just kind of surrendered and didn't do much.
No, Fred
Oh,
is
yeah.
just he's too soft
Yeah.
to be involved in this stuff. You know? He's a nice guy, loves his family, but wrong person to be in the
Mhm.
mix.
Yeah. So-
Papa.
Daddy!
Papa.
Oh, I hate that. Hate whenever Don Corleone looks weak.
Mm.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. It's like
There it
almost
is.
the ultimate alpha male, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got the shit shot out of him. That's what happened.
And
Shot
this is
five
where
times.
Mods,
Michael finds
please
out.
check the chat. Sorry.
PCat, you want to take care of that?
Yeah, okay, let me see what's going
Done.
on.
Okay, thanks very much. Yep, this is Michael just finding out that his father has been gunned down the worst possible way.
Is that 3 cents for the paper?
3 cents. I'm sure he can afford that.
Yep. Calls up Sonny. Sonny's calling around to try to find out more information.
Yep.
Gets a knock on the door.
The days before text messages, etc.
Yeah.
Right?
No cell phones, nothing.
How did we survive without him? I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
God, I wish we can go back to those days sometimes.
Know what you mean?
Yeah.
Clemenza.
yeah.
Word on the street, he's already dead.
And this is correct me if I'm wrong, this is the get Polly fast moment.
Yep. Paulie's
He's
only
like,
been
but he's been
yeah.
sick
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
No
for like a
excuse.
month. Yeah.
And this is back to I think the capture of Hagen.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's making his proposal.
Do so or else. I thought Hagen was going to get roughed up here, but he seems to have managed to escape that.
Yeah, you would think so, right? But no, they leave him untouched because they know what's going to happen to him if they hurt him. You know, you remember Hagen was the Don's adopted son.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Vito loved him like a son. And I honestly think Tom Hagen was his favorite out of his kids. So
Yeah.
that's just me.
The only bit that didn't make too much sense, unless it's maybe something missing from the book, is they didn't have a great deal of leverage on him here, other than possibly him seeing the bigger picture and realizing that he doesn't want a war and no one wants a war.
Yeah.
Well, they thought that the Don was dead. And since he was consigliere, they were like, okay, well, I'm going to talk to number 2, because consigliere is pretty much number 2 or the advisor to the Don.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, let's talk to him and see if we can reason with him, because like I said, they thought the Don was dead.
He has that great line where he says, and you tell that hothead Sonny to basically control himself. He goes, I'll try. He goes, but even I can't control Luca Brasi because they don't know he's dead. And then that's when Salazzo goes, yeah, well, I'll worry about Luca.
Yep.
He's still alive. They shot him 5 times and he's still alive.
Yeah, I thought it was a
Bad
bit
luck for me
miraculous.
and bad luck for you if you don't make that deal.
It's sad
Yeah.
how Michael found out through the newspaper, though. You're like, oh, man, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, made the evening paper at least. I mean, that was some quick news.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Hail to Crimpline Doubloon in the chat and the Time Prophet who's just turned up. Feel free to chime in at any moment, folks.
Yeah.
Look, Brian, I
I
thought
love
we were
the
trying
look at
to
this
zip
meeting.
through this.
Yeah, I love this. I mean, these are such iconic things. Even like a pack of cigarettes and all sitting around in these darkened rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's been such an influential film to the point where you actually forget that it's an influential film.
Yep.
It's been so pervasive in culture. Parcel for you, boss.
There's Paulie.
Yeah. Who's
Pretending
the
he's
cold
sick.
Polly?
Yep.
Yeah.
What the hell is this?
Yeah. What is that?
It means Luca Brasi sleeps with the fishes.
Yeah. I'm kidding.
No. I know. I just like how Michael is trying to call Luca at that moment. Once he hears that, he just has that look and he just hangs up the phone.
Yeah. It's sad because, like I said, Luca was so loyal. But you knew it was him because it was his bulletproof vest.
Mm-hmm.
And this scene is
Clemenza talking to his wife as they're going to take out Paulie for a ride in the last ride of his life.
Yep, because they realized Polly was a leak.
Yep. I think, did they base it on phone records, if I recall correctly?
God, I don't remember. And I just watched this 2 days ago. Or 3 days ago.
hail to the captain in the chat. Yeah, I think it was kind of obvious as well that it was Polly. He's all of a sudden taken unwell.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was just sick all the time. And they're like, yeah, he's been sick off and on, Sonny, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bullshit.
and of course, simple Fredo when he was telling his father that. He goes, "Oh, I don't know. He's a really good kid."
Yeah. So he's like, I gotta go take a pee-pee. Let's
Yeah.
stop.
Stop in this empty field where I can't possibly
Yeah.
indulge anything else.
So Clemenza gets out to take a piss. And
Boom.
then
Yep.
shot in the back of the head.
I'm
Leave
guessing
the gun, take the cannoli.
back in the day when this was sorry, PCat. Back in the day when this was like, when it was released, and a lot of mafia films and TV shows weren't really around. This is probably one of the first, and I guess scenes like this were shocking to the audience. But today you kind of expect it after watching The Sopranos and things like that. You kind of think, well, that's the way they do things. That's how they handle business. But back then it was kind of like when they get the camera then pans back to the car and he's dead, and it's just like a horrific scene, and audiences must have just been horrified at so many things in this film. But we kind of just become desensitized to it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of blood just in the horse's head scene alone. I mean, I can't imagine audiences mid 60s seeing that kind of blood in a movie.
Mm.
Imagine eating your popcorn and you're like, yeah, I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
I mean, at least if you're not prepared for it, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So.
Oh God, I thought there was going to be a horse's head in the bottom of my bucket. Oh.
Matt, do you want to take this by Cruel Burab?
Oh wait, my screen's taking a little while to update. Hold on a sec.
Anyways, I'll get it. Cruel Burab in the chat says, take Polly for a trip. Totally not suspicious.
Exactly.
There was a funny line in the car trip too, where they mentioned something about exterminators. Paulie says, and then Clemenza goes, "You better watch out. We don't exterminate you, Paulie."
And then
That's right.
It was like that fun. It was like they were joking, foreshadowing at the same time. It was very funny.
Yeah. Good call.
Hail to Cam in the chat.
Sir Cam.
Oh, he's looking sad.
Yeah.
Cooking lessons for Michael here, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Clemenza teaches cooking.
I must admit, I nearly took a pen and a bit of paper to get the recipe. He was doing it.
I was thinking, I wonder what that tastes like. I'd like to give that a go.
I know that's weird, right? I put a little bit of sugar in it. That's my secret.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's
A little bit of wine.
We put
Enough
more
of
than
this
a little bit of
bullshit.
wine.
I love is that was the scene when Michael was talking to Kay and he was like, didn't want to really talk. He's like, "I love you, Michael," and he doesn't say nothing.
And he's
That's
like,
it.
"How come
Yeah,
you
that's
didn't tell her you
why don't you
loved
tell that-
her?"
Yep. I love you with all of my heart, and if I don't see you soon, I'm gonna die.
Yeah. So cute.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of, he has to say bye to Kay for a little bit because he knows he needs to leave after he shoots him dead.
Goodbye, Kate. I'm off to get married. I'll see you later.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm gonna find myself a hot 16-year-old Sicilian chick.
Was she really that young? Blimey.
Was she that young? That's just gross.
I don't know if she was quite that young, but she was not old. Let me. I need to double check what the exact age was, but she was very young.
Yeah, good call.
And this is back at the hospital,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael's still not fully turned yet.
No.
I liked when Michael made the nurse move him.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good move. He's like, "Where's everybody?" "Well, we sent him away. We called the police." It's like, oh, shit.
Yep.
What were you thinking, you dumb broad?
Well, definitely there was more behind it.
Yeah.
This was planned. Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. But, like, the nurse was just like, "Yeah, no big deal. You can't be here." It's like, nah, bitch. Listen up. Speaking of,
Yep.
he's like, "You're going to help me move my dad." Sorry,
And then
Brian.
Matron's in
Yep.
charge. Nope, not for long. Gonna kill him.
My father. Men are coming here to kill him.
There he goes.
I don't know if it's me, but when I watch the scene, hearing the IV and the blood bottles like clanking, I never remember that. Like all of my memories of hospitals are they're always in plastic bags, so you hear like the bottles clanking together
Yeah.
as they're moving the moving Vito.
The sound in this film is very visceral.
Yeah.
Listen to it, it's very in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that about the footsteps approaching as well. When you hear it
Yeah.
along the corridor.
Keeping an eye out. Here
Here's
comes the
Enzo.
nervous baker.
Yep, Enzo the baker.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
I'm
Poor
Enzo,
guy.
the baker.
I was convinced he was the assassin, or he was going to be an assassin until I saw
what I
him
thought.
shaking his
Yeah.
fingers, shaking, trying to light a cigarette.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, he's holding flowers. That's usually a good sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Assassins are always holding flowers.
Exactly.
Isn't that where they keep the gun, though? They've all got
Yeah.
Yeah,
As if
exactly.
you're a Terminator, yeah.
I'm thinking of Dirty Den in EastEnders, Matt.
Ah, tulips, yeah.
UK reference.
Daffodils, yeah.
Oh, he's like my
Just
boy.
flickering signs.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's got that little tear
Sounds like
coming down the side.
He's so
well
happy to
spotted.
see Michael.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, thank God, a son's here that's not going to get me killed.
Yeah. Thank goodness you're not Sonny.
Stand here, look brave, Andrew.
Just gonna read Shane Nolan in the chat says Ms. Martin Muses, I checked, the actress was 16, not sure about the character.
Well, that's actually pretty creepy that the actress was that young.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of not right.
I'm definitely surprised. I thought she'd be at least 18. But...
Yeah, because considering you see her nude,
Yeah.
gee whiz. Perverts.
You see her nude?
Yeah,
Must have
you
missed
see her
it.
in the wedding
Boobies.
night. Yeah, her boobs.
Yeah.
I don't remember
Must have
seeing
missed
that.
that.
Maybe I saw a censored version of it.
Yeah, maybe they cut that in the one that I watched.
I was gonna say it's on mine on Blu-ray.
Yeah, it wasn't on the first one I saw because, again, I noticed it because I was like, dude, you see her boobs, like in the adult one, not the one I saw originally.
Actually, I'm looking now. She was born November 54.
And this
So
was
this movie came out in 72, so she was 18, maybe 17. Still, it's still creepy.
Wow, she's exactly the same age as my mum.
Wow.
Wow.
16, 17, that's still, that's...
Yeah, still not right.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, she didn't even say anything. You could have found any hot Italian model who was at least in her 20s, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that they raise the collars, put your hand inside like you have a gun.
Yeah.
Poor Enzo was terrified.
Oh, yeah.
Who wouldn't be?
Yeah.
Can't
Yeah,
light the
the
cigarette.
Yeah.
Here comes McCluskey.
Dirty cop.
Yep.
Yep.
After I had all you bleep hoods locked up.
Yeah.
How much is the
Very
turn
manly.
to set up my father?
Oh, look at that look. It's
Yep.
like dirty cop dude. You dead.
Yep.
This is when he gives him the
Yeah.
shiner that lasts for most of the movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
I thought we were going to see it there. The very manly act of getting two other guys to hold someone while you hit them.
Mhm.
And this is the we find out the opposition was whacked at 4 a.m. in retaliation for the
Yeah.
Gone to the
attempted
mattresses.
assassination.
Yep.
Yep.
Sonny's gone to the mattresses.
Yeah.
And here we're seeing anyone.
They're just breaking down, figuring out what they're gonna do, what their next play is, and they're gonna start talking about McCluskey as they figure out that he's on the payroll.
Yep. Tom goes over the kind of possibility of what could happen if something goes wrong.
Mhm.
James Caan's doing a very, very Italian turn right here, isn't he? In this bit.
Yeah.
As Martin Muses, would you like to read this out from Crimpline Doubloon?
Sure. Sure. Has it been mentioned that in reference to this film, James Brown dubbed himself the Godfather of Soul on the cover of his soundtrack to the blaxploitation gangster movie Black Caesar?
Wow, didn't know that.
No,
Nice.
well, no, it has not been mentioned, but now it has. Yes.
Top trivia. as
Yeah.
Brown would say.
Nice. He was
Cam
a
Cam in
legend.
the chat says the actor playing Enzo does a great bit of acting here. He certainly does.
Yeah. Agreed.
They could have just got one of the mafia bosses who was real on set just to come and rough him up for 5 minutes before the shot.
Yeah.
No,
A lot of laughter going on in this scene.
Aw.
Yeah.
Hey!
Hey,
nice
you're
college
welcome.
boy.
Yeah, good time.
Nice college boy.
Almighty.
Oh my God.
I'm serious, man.
What's Brown thinking with some of these shots? Poor Mike got hit by the cop, all swollen up.
Had to borrow some of that padding from
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marlon Brando's face.
The scene right before that was when he goes up to him like in a mocking way. What are you gonna do? He goes, "It's not the army where you shoot him a mile away. You got to go right up to him and bada bing,"
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that,
Famous
yeah.
one, yeah.
which was the inspiration for the bada bing in The Sopranos. That's where they got the name.
It just shows you, despite him being a soldier or a marine, that he isn't taken seriously in their world.
Yeah. They still treat him like a kid.
Yeah.
I love that he tapes up the trigger and the handle of the gun to not leave fingerprints. And he's like, shoot them each twice. Not just once, twice in the head. Each.
Yep.
Is that your cat, Reni?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to get rid of
Vito's
this
cat.
little pest. You know, I don't know what it is, but it's like when I'm on this channel, she's like, oh, by the way, I've got to say hi to everyone. I'm like, no.
There he is, giving a bit of instruction to Michael as to how to do it.
Yeah.
And he mentions that he hasn't put a silencer or anything on it, so it scares the bejesus out of anyone that might be.
Made it extra loud. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
want to be brave. Yeah. Christ, that's some shot, Brown. Look at that.
I'm telling you, man. Brown just like, he watches the movie, and every scene, he takes like a screenshot every second.
Nice trout pout going on there. Al?
Yeah.
Jacob Ironside in the chat says, got to be close with those little snub-nosed revolvers. Being from the UK, I wouldn't know anything about that, to be honest. And absolute filth from Mr. Brown in the chat there.
Oh, come on, Brown.
I'm not even going to read that. I'm not even going to read that one out.
Yeah.
Slim.
So they're going over the rundown of what's going to happen and what's going to happen after what happens.
They're trying to find out where they're going to take Michael.
Yeah. They're like, do we know yet? Where are they going to be?
Yeah, it's when they find out because he's a police captain, and a police captain has to be on call 24 hours and sign out every single place he's going to be. And
Yep.
he signed out for the restaurant.
Yep.
Louis in the Bronx.
Seems to, I don't know if it's maybe the cut that I watched, but there's a hell of a lot of inconsistency with the bruising on his face.
Yes.
Disappearing and reappearing. It might be
Well,
I think it may be the version I watched, to be honest.
Especially in Sicily. Like, so when he goes to Sicily, it's like the swelling goes down, but the color of the bruise gets darker and it spreads. And I'm like, am I crazy, or did somebody punch him in the face again? And I just don't remember him getting punched in the face again.
Because his face is almost clear at one point, and then the next thing
Yeah.
you see the shine
And
on
then
his
it's
back.
like this big black mark across his face. And I'm like, what the hell?
Whenever he was on screen again, I just think, hasn't that healed up yet? Jeez.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Even when I was young, he's in Sicily, and his months have gone by, and he's still putting compresses on the side of his face. Like, how long is this swelling last?
Yeah.
They
Must
didn't
been
have
some right hook.
freezers back in the day in Sicily. No, just kidding.
My frozen peas. You're right.
Yeah, exactly. Can't do an
Reni-
ice pack.
Rennie, would
Sorry.
you like to take this one from Cam?
It says, Cam in the chat says, everyone in this movie is so well cast and does such a great job of acting that you believe that these are people. Combined with the excellent writing and cinematography just makes this movie so great. Yeah, well said.
Yep, well said, Cam.
Yeah, I can't really remember a performance that made me cringe. Like, that was a little weak. Everybody's just spot on in this.
Yeah, I don't think there's a bit of bad acting.
Yeah. Well, everything about this movie is perfect. I mean, there's not even anything in here that's superfluous.
Yeah.
And I agree with Jacob Ironside when they show James Caan in like a tank top. You see like all this hair coming out. It's just like, oh man, he is a hairy dude. Yeah,
on his back.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, wax it, bro.
So that's the kind of hair you'd want to take a razor and like draw a smiley face on his back.
Or do like the 40-year-old virgin thing where you make like the little
Yeah. Here we are at Jack Dempsey's restaurant.
Where they pick him up.
Yep.
Frisk him.
Yep. There's McCluskey.
Yeah, the tension.
He's like, he's clean. Sorry,
all of this. Oh no, I was just saying the tension is just builds and builds and builds. Like you feel how Corleone, how Michael's feeling during this whole scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially
it's nerve-wracking.
This is the scene that gets me every time. It's such great acting when he sees Jersey and he thinks, well, we're not going to the Bronx. He goes, we're going to Jersey? And then Saul's like,
oh,
maybe. And it's what a brilliant... It's such a small thing, but I just love how Pacino just like, we're going to Jersey?
And he's thinking, oh, shit.
Yep.
In fact, it's Lou's restaurant. I'm talking absolute rubbish there.
There we go. Louis in the Bronx. Louis restaurant. The veal is really good.
I kind of felt always for the restaurant owner.
Oh yeah, he does kind of get screwed, doesn't he?
It's like he's witness to a major mob hit.
Well, and who would ever want to eat there,
Yeah. All I was doing was trying to serve spaghetti.
This is where the subtitles let me down in my copy. It just says, speaking Italian.
No,
Did you
that's
guys,
the way it is. There's no
did you guys
subtitles
look it
in
up
this.
or figure out what they were saying? Because he's just basically like, Michael, nothing personal, but your dad's too old-fashioned. This was just business. That's basically what he was saying to him.
Yeah, I thought it was my copy as well. I thought, everyone else is getting subtitles and I'm not. Damn it.
No, for some reason he didn't put any subtitles in this.
I forget the reason, because Coppola gave a reason for that. And I don't remember the reason. I guess he just wanted us to... I don't remember, but I'll find it. Because I remember he said...
really immersed in the moment, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's kind of what it was. And not be sidetracked.
Hail to Tim. Sorry, Rennie. Hail to Tim Possible in the chat. Sue says, the Railos sent me here. Said it was a safe place.
No, there's nothing safe about this place.
Hi, Timmy.
I just want to highlight Cam real quick.
Sure.
So Cam says Michael's cheekbone is supposed to be broken, so the bruise spreading is actually very, very realistic.
Really?
Interesting.
Okay, well that's good to know.
Yeah.
And if there's anyone on this planet who knows about injuries, it's Cam.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, poor guy. Poor unlucky Cam.
The one thing about no subtitles in this, though, you're just watching Michael's face as the anger just slowly builds as he's just listening and listening.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that I think is really awesome about this movie, and not only Michael's transformation, because he goes from one end of the spectrum to the other, but he's the most intelligent and thought processing person as far as his siblings go. I mean, he just has okay, if I do this, then this is going to happen. And you just see that grow and grow and grow. And it's like, he's perfect to be the Don. He's the only one that should be out of Vito's kids.
That's such a great point, because now it reminds me of the scene earlier when they were figuring out what they were going to do. And he wants to kill McCluskey, and you can't kill a police officer. He goes, well, what about a corrupt officer that's into drugs? He goes, we have guys on the media payroll. They can write a great story about that. And then Hagen's like, yeah, that's right. We could. That's a great point.
It's like
he
none
pulls
of
a
them
lot of
thought
stuff out.
Yeah.
Sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I was agreeing. You know, none of them thought of that. He was the only one that came out with that initiative.
Yep.
It's ironic the fact that he never really wanted to be this person, but he's the most perfect for the job out of all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And they laughed at him and called him Joe College and stuff like that. And like, oh, you joined the military. But he is literally the most intelligent and like planning, problem solving person in Vito's family.
He's the one who inherited that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt, do you want to take this one from Shane Nolan?
In the book, they say Sonny is hot and angry like a volcano, but Michael is cool, angry, like dread. I think that's very true. Yeah, they got that absolutely perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
a scene that was cut in the theatrical version that's in the chronological version. Early in the picture, the original consigliere, Janko, they go to visit him in the hospital, and the Don and the 4 kids all go. And when he's seeing Michael still in his military uniform, he walks up to him. He goes, what are all these ribbons that you have? He goes, for bravery. He goes, these are the awards you win for strangers. And then Michael just looks at him and tries walking away. Like he just does not want any part of this life at that point. It just adds to the, as Reni said, that amazing transformation that he goes through.
There's the rage building.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I loved about this scene, and it's been talked about endlessly, I suppose, is the sound of the drill track behind it.
That's like that.
Yeah. It just builds up. It's almost the building the tension.
Like rage, isn't it? It's like an audio manifestation of his rage. Yeah.
Yeah.
You so totally believe Pacino in this film, don't you? My God.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to start firing through these a little bit quicker, folks, if you don't mind.
Yes, that would be lovely.
Yeah, this is great. It's a toilet. Yeah, and this whole thing, the way it all worked out, and the gun was already there, but
you couldn't do that nowadays. You can't hide a gun in the toilet. No. You know.
Yeah, they don't have toilets like that anyway, do they?
Yeah.
But the systems, like that, unless it's a retro bar or something, but just the bit where he's searching around, and you don't know if he's gonna find it or not, or if somebody's already found it before him or anything. It's like this, you know. And you don't even after he finds it, you don't even fully know if he's actually pulled it out or not because they don't directly show you the weapon.
It's just funny because he's sitting there like, "Oh my God, where is it? It's not here."
So the audience is thinking, "Shit! Oh shit!"
Yeah, what would he do if the gun wasn't there?
Exactly. Right?
Yeah, I was wondering that. Well, when he sits down, I was thinking, is he going to hand solo him or what's he going to do?
Yeah. Go to the kitchen, grab a
and
knife,
then the train comes by and rattle.
Yeah.
Oh, time to shoot.
Yeah.
All these little things just add to the tension of the scene.
Yeah.
Boom,
one
like down.
That line. Yep.
Double tap.
Say that again, PCat?
No, I was gonna say when looking for the gun, that was in the earlier scene when Sonny goes, "I want somebody good," and I mean really good to put that gun behind there because I don't want Michael coming out with more than just his bleep in his hands.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
There's something about this bit freaks me out. See that little second or two when he's kind of, you can almost feel that.
Yes, where he's like choking on his own blood.
It's visceral, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not over Hollywoodized like it would be these days at all. Like you can imagine Michael Baker doing this, can't you? It'd be ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there he goes. Look at him. He's very cold.
But he's nervous at the same time, because he doesn't shoot them both in the head twice.
Yep.
Is he supposed to do that? I don't recall.
Yeah, Clemenza told him.
Yeah.
Shoot each of them in the head twice.
Oh. Well,
and this final scene, as he's walking out, he doesn't follow the full instructions because Clemenza told him, keep the gun low by your side and just let it slip out of your hand, and they'll think that you still have it. But he's still nervous. You can see him fling the gun.
He just tosses it. Yeah. It's like, what?
Yep.
Yeah, but look at that place. Yeah, it's been cleared.
Oh yeah.
Louis' restaurant now closed.
This is a great sequence.
The publications.
By the way, edited by George Lucas.
Wow.
He was done as a favor to Coppola.
Were good friends. I don't know if they still are, but I know they were. Yeah.
Oh, they were all part of the same college, weren't they? I think the same.
Yeah,
they were all-
Coppola and Spielberg. Sorry,
Yeah.
PCat.
No, go ahead.
No, that's all.
That is all. No, he edited the sequence. And actually, Marcia Lucas was one of the people in the before the movie was fully cast. She was also plug-in for Coppola to hire Al Pacino.
Oh, awesome.
I'll be darned.
Top trivia.
Yeah, there we are.
Just blast through these.
Some of these.
Now, what are they
shots
smiling for?
You know,
Yeah,
these
right?
some of these are actual real shots of mob hits.
Really?
that they
I
have
wondered,
described. Yeah.
wondered about that when I saw it. It'll look a bit graphic.
Hmm.
Jesus.
Good times, I guess.
Yeah.
Clemenza, very fit and healthy.
Yeah.
Talk about yourself, boys and girls. I've got some technical stuff to do here.
So Vito's going to return home from the
Yep,
hospital.
he's getting better. Still bedridden, but
Yep.
better. Man, every time, it doesn't matter how many times I've seen this movie, when I see Vito go down, I'm just like, oh my God.
Yep. It's funny
On
too.
the other hand, Vito's not a good guy. You know, these are killers.
Which is why when they made part 2, because when they made this movie, everybody really looked at Vito as just a heroic person, and even Michael to a degree, because everything Michael does in this movie is, you're like, oh, you can't argue with it. He's killing the guys that shot his father. He's going to kill this one that set up his own brother. When they made part 2, they made a conscious effort to really show that these people are bad, and you see a lot of really dark, evil things Michael does in part 2 because they were just too heroic in people's eyes.
Mm.
And me, I'm
But
sitting
like I
there
said-
rooting for Vito when he shoots, what's his name in the second one and kills him.
Yeah. Well, he was a dick. He had it
Yeah.
coming.
Yes.
Don Fanucci. That's
Yep.
it.
The Black Hand.
Yes.
Here is the old fella coming back home.
The funny thing is he had bricks in the stretchers they were carrying him up. So when the poor guys, the poor extras that were carrying him up, he was weighing a lot more than he should have because he hid bricks underneath his blanket.
That's not right.
Yeah, I know.
What a
Great.
dick.
Oh my. Oh, there's Connie.
You're going to have to talk us through this one, folks. My knowledge is not the best on this.
This is where they're telling him he's asking where Michael is,
And he's
and
giving...
then they tell him that
They're
it was
all like-
Michael that shot Salazzo.
He's like, where's Michael?
And they're
Yeah.
all like awkward.
Yeah.
Like, about that.
I love he's just so disappointed at hearing that, and he just shoos him away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think Tom does a good job of making him understand. Like I said, I really do think Tom is his favorite child.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the moment where Sonny says, we're at war, and you don't have a clue what you're up to. Which is then...
So when he gives him that real snide comment, he goes, if I had a real concierge, a wartime concierge, he goes, Pop had Janko, look what I got. And then he's like, I'm
But
sorry.
that gives kind of credence to his decision, to Michael's decision later on in the film.
Yeah, it does. But at the same time, Vito says this really well later in the film. He said, you weren't a bad concierge. Sonny was a bad Don. So he did everything he could to help Sonny out. But at the same time, he wasn't a wartime concierge. But Sonny was just such a hothead, and he didn't make logical decisions like Michael did, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. He thought with his winger dinger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, though, I did like when he went to bat for his sister. I'm okay with domestic violence, and I love the fact that he beat the hell out of Rizzo.
Oh, yeah. That was one of the best beatings ever.
Oh, yeah.
It got into like a bit of a wrestling match almost at one point. I thought someone was going to pull pull a chair out and dive off some corner buckles.
And he bit his hand, and then he took the lid of the trash can.
It was totally WWE. I was thinking, like, where's Hulk Hogan here? Someone's going to come in and tap him out.
Some of that was ad-lib too, because Gianni Russo, who played Carlo, said he actually broke, I think, one of his ribs, and he really hurt him in that scene.
Jeez.
But as he was explaining it now, he was like, because he was not an actor, so he felt, oh, this is what they really do in movies. They really hit you. So he didn't think anything of it.
He wasn't like, oh, all right.
Yep.
Wow.
Screw you all. I didn't have to be beat up.
Exactly.
Well, that's how you make a convincing movie, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is us back in Sicily.
Yep.
Michael.
Michael's doing his Luke Skywalker and hiding from everyone.
And the turncoat Fabrizio behind him.
Oh, that bastard.
Yep.
Oh, that was a shocker.
Don Tomasino.
Thank you. I was like, what is that guy's name? Dom Tomasino.
Yep.
And they
Well,
showed him
PCat.
in the third one, right?
Yes, he's in the
Yes.
third one, and
But he's like a
the
little old man.
Yeah, and the younger version of him is in part 2, the flashbacks.
Yes.
At the end, when young Vito goes after Don Cheech for vengeance
Yes.
for his parents, you see he's the one that gets shot at the end that gets his legs taken out from under him.
Yeah.
That guy just reminds me so much of Gerard Depardieu.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Okay.
PCat, do you want to take this one?
Sure. Camp says, at Not Brian, Michael was the Don's favorite. It's why he didn't want him involved. He had political ambitions for him and wanted him to stay clean. Being a war hero would have helped with that.
Well, he wanted him to stay clean. Whenever you remember the speech, he says to Michael, not to correct you, Cam, but he does say, like, yes, he wanted him to be legitimate, but he thought it was also good for the family for him to be legitimate. Senator Corleone, Colonel Corleone. I mean, he goes through all these things that Michael could have been if he had stayed legitimate.
Yeah. And that's when Michael shoots back. I'm not that's the way he said it in Italian, but basically, I'm not a puppet.
Yes.
Oh, there's Apollonia.
And this is the thunderbolt to the heart for Michael.
Yep. The Italian.
See, and that's just sad to me, because did he really love Kay if he just instantly fell for this woman?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was like true love at first sight, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it was probably more the fact that she wasn't wearing a bra with some thin material.
Yeah, I mean, that could help as well. But, I mean, Michael was just, like, hell-bent on marrying her right away while he strung Kay along for however long and just kind of said, well, gotta go, see you later, I don't know when. And it's like, what?
True.
He couldn't even say I love you back to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and Apollonia was like the easy wife because she was innocent, naive, and would do whatever he told her to do.
True.
And,
Did the subservient thing. Yeah, you're right, Teresa.
Yep.
It was good though. I like the banter between them. It was just it was a real relationship. They were there were no airs and graces or anything. It was just very real and natural and raw between them, just like it should be if you're truly in love with somebody. It shouldn't be like pulling any punches, and you shouldn't be, holding back. It should be coming out with anything, and you should just accept what the other person says and treat it humorously. And it was like that. You got that dynamic between them on screen, which is he didn't have that with Kate at all.
Yeah.
This was funny when they're telling the father, they don't know it's Apollonia's father, that they met this beautiful woman, such a great mouth, and
then they finally figure it out. It's like, oops,
because he gets mad and he just like throws a fit, and they're like,
there's no woman in this town.
Yeah.
Then I forget if Fabrizio, the other guy goes, "Oh, I understand. That's his daughter."
Next thing you know.
Yeah, that was great.
He wants to set up a meeting as well.
Yeah.
He does it very gentlemanly. A lot of respect.
Yeah, and he seems to win him over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you think the old guy knew who Don Corleone was then? Seemed okay about it, you think?
No, well, he gives him, if you remember when he's telling him in the scene, he goes, he's speaking English and having it translated. He gives him information. He goes, there's a lot of people that would pay a lot of money for that information, as he's giving him a little bit of his own background. So I guess, he's trusting him with that information.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm wondering if Fabrizio gets that idea in his head to sell him out.
Huh.
Yeah.
I could be, again, it's just just possibility.
Mm.
Yeah. Or
The Time Prophet. Sorry, Tracy.
Oh no, it's all right.
The Time Prophet in the chat says, "Why does Sicily look like California?" I can actually answer this. Apparently, it was modernized, and that's why they had to change locations. Apparently.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go.
And Cam in the chat says, at Reni A, correct. I think we were saying the same thing. Michael would have led a legitimized family, which was the Don's dream. And 2, you see the Don's reluctance to get into crime.
Yep. Well, I mean, but he quickly is not so reluctant after it feeds his family. But yeah. But I still say Tom was his favorite. I really do. He trusted Tom more than anyone else.
He was just super logical and mature and reliable.
Yeah.
Just Tim Possible in the chat there asking why Mr. Brown isn't on. It's because Mr. Brown has got a few personal problems just now he's trying to sort out, so I've been drafted in to try and keep the ship afloat, which the jury still is to how I'm doing. But anyway, moving on.
I think you're doing a great job, man. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Oh, God bless you. Checks in the post there, Matt. Thank you.
And there they are romancing the family so they can like Michael and give their blessing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and I think Michael won it over when he said you'll be gaining a son. In other words, saying that he was going to be honorable. He wasn't going to try to deflower her, that he was intending marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And he has to go and meet all the family.
And this is the gift he hands her, isn't it? The necklace.
Yeah.
Oh.
Be worth a few bob, I would think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there's the bruise that came back, and I thought, what's going on with that?
Yeah. The changing bruise. Ever-changing bruise.
Well pleased.
How long had he been back there for this amount of time?
I think he winds up staying almost a year, right?
So this was how long after he got back there?
Like a couple months, maybe?
Yeah, he was there. He was there total for 2 years.
Was it? I thought it was a year. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Because it took a while for him to court her, and then they got married, and they were married for a bit, and she was pregnant when she died.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I did wonder that. Oh, God.
Yeah. I don't think they said it in the movie, but it was a thing in the book.
Yeah.
And this is the horrible revelation. Sorry, PCat, I've talked right over you now.
Man, yeah. Because Connie, he's like, come on, Connie. What did he pick her up for?
I forget. It was something, but... Well, for one thing, this woman is pregnant, and he beat the shit out of her.
Terrible.
Gosh.
It's
terrible to kick the shit out of anyone to begin with, but...
That is Adrienne, isn't it, from Rocky?
Yeah,
she was in training. She was training for Rocky.
Yeah. She got the role because she's Coppola's sister. Oh my God, PCat, shame on you.
Oh, Rocky hit me again.
There he is, the scumbag extraordinaire.
Oh, there he is. Yep. Oh yeah, this is my favorite. My dad loves this scene. He just thinks it's the best thing ever.
I do. I love when Carlo gets the crap beat out of him by Sonny, even though it cost Sonny. I love it.
The worst punch in movie history was just there too. You remember that scene when he punches and he misses him by about a mile?
Yeah, and he bites his fingers. Like, I love this. He's like, hold on.
I thought that was crazy that bit. I thought, what? Jesus,
yeah, Sonny goes nuts.
Yeah.
It's like a proper fight and a proper scrap and things like that happen.
You beat up my sister, you son of a bitch.
He should have known that would happen, though.
Yeah.
It just seems to go on forever, this scene.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, it's the most classic beat down in eternity. Now, if I'm correct, this time it wasn't on purpose. He was just beating her. But the next time he did it on purpose. So.
Oh my God! Yeah, he set that up.
So I don't. If I'm correct, at this point he hadn't been compromised.
Correct.
Yeah, it just was an unhappy coincidence.
One last kick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, there we go. They're getting married.
Happy underage couple. It's a bit like James Gandolfini for that angle, doesn't it?
Yeah. Don
Doesn't-
Tomasino.
Yep.
This is kind of like a basic wedding compared to his sisters, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's still traditional, and they do a lot of fun stuff, but it's definitely not half as expensive.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, and it's fun. I love the idea that someone gets married and the whole friggin' town has a party.
Yeah. Makes me want to go to Sicily.
Yeah.
RRTNZ in the chat says Francis Ford Coppola and James Caan should hold a patent for the word curb stomp, as is probably the first one on film.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Definitely something.
Yeah.
Shane Nolan also says, but he was only violent with her because he was ordered to from this previous scene. The moment Sonny died, he never did it again. He was provoking Sonny.
Well, I don't think the first time he was. First time was like just incidental. The second time was on purpose to lure Sonny.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they set him up.
Mm.
Yeah, because you remember too when Sonny gets hit, it's never seen or heard on screen, but that one assassin gives him that final kick to the face, and it makes you think like Carlos says, "Hey, do me, like just give him a nice kick to the face when you're done with him."
And they did.
Yep.
Yeah.
Time Prophet in the chat says there was only 5 people at my wedding. Lol. Well, that's because you're a contrary pain in the arse, Time Prophet.
Oh.
I'm only kidding. It's one of my favourites on here.
You know what, though? There's nothing wrong with a small wedding. You do you.
Uh-huh.
There's a little less chance he'd be assassinated, that's for sure.
That's true.
There they are. Wow, Brian.
More wedding stuff. And oh, for God's sake, please, Brown,
Please,
please, for the
Brown,
love of
no.
God. If I click the
We're
next
all
slide
about
and this
to
is
get
pornographic, I'm probably going to...
Demonetized.
The laws in this country, I'm probably going to get lifted before the end of the stream. Oh, right. Close your eyes, boys and girls. Oh, thank God for that.
Oh my gosh.
God, that's like a flashback to my childhood. My parents would make me turn around during that scene. I could see the blood and guts. I could see the horse's head. I could see the, Sonny and the blood. Oh, turn around, my dad, or close, cover your eyes, turn around.
Oh, and then
Okay, PCat, where are we here? What's happening here?
This is where Kay is trying to contact Michael. So she's visiting, and she's met by Tom Hagen, and she has letters she wants to send to Michael. And that's why Hagen says, I can't accept these, because if I accept them, then they can prove in a court of law I know his whereabouts. Because he's still under suspicion for killing McCluskey and Salazzo.
Yep.
Right. Just a brief thank you to Cam for some of his nice comments in the chat there.
Yay.
Trying to give him the letter. Yep.
And he's like, no, I can't accept it.
It's like, I hate to tell you this, Kay, but he's banging a 16-year-old Greek woman right now.
Yeah.
Literally, as we speak. Oh, did I say that one?
There's
Another
Connie
horrible scene.
Carlo.
Yeah, now this is the one where he does it on purpose to piss off.
Yeah.
Because at first I thought, like, when you first watch it, you think, oh, okay, well, he got busted for having an affair. But he set that up, even though he probably was cheating on Connie, in all fairness. But he set that up to piss her off, to antagonize her, to have him beat the hell out of her, to have her call Sonny.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, this is terrible.
I'll just fire through these as quickly as I can.
When he busts out the belt, that just makes me sick.
Yeah. The way they edited it too, where she's screaming and he's giving her like that one last whack, and it cuts to the baby screaming like so simultaneously.
Yeah.
There's something horrible when you see when it goes behind the door and you don't see what's going on almost.
Exactly.
Your mind works in funny way. Well, mind does.
Yeah, less is more.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sonny acting on the spur of the moment, hot-headed, which eventually costs him.
You know, I love Sonny because of that, but I hate him being in charge because of that.
Mm-hmm.
The toll booth.
Yep.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Boom.
Like how many bullets do you think he took? I mean, he took a
jeez.
lot of bullets.
Well, they weren't going to make the same mistake twice after the last one. were they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was not going to make it out alive.
Nope.
And there he is.
It's got to be like a record for like most squibs at the time used in a movie.
Oh yeah,
Right?
look at yeah,
It's
There
always
was
a
a-
bigger fish. Yep.
yeah. There's no doubt that he is dead.
And he kicks him in the head.
Oh, I hate that every time. Just that final kick.
And then we have Hagen
Such a
telling
good
the old
Oh,
man some
man.
bad news.
I hate that. So Vito's like, so Tom, can you tell me why my wife is upstairs crying and why everybody seems so upset? I mean, how would you like to have to tell him that?
Like, well, oh gosh, the chat's killing me.
It's a flesh wound. Jacob
Yeah.
Ironside quoting Monty
Cruel.
Oh my
Python.
God.
This one.
And Cruel Biob goes, I wonder if he's okay.
It's like the scene in RoboCop when they say, call the paramedic after he's been blasted to a million.
Yeah.
Kenny's been
Yeah.
blasted to a million pieces.
This scene is so endearing between Tom and Vito. I swear.
Yeah. Is
There's the
Bonacera.
favor being called in.
There's a scene in the extended cut that shows you that Bonacera is really an ungrateful piece of you know what, where right before he meets Bonacera, after he gets the call, Bonacera's with his wife, and his wife is dressing him, and he's all upset. He goes, now they're going to want me to do something. They're probably going to want me to cover up for killing somebody, and I could be an accessory. And he tells his wife, I cursed the day you met Carmela Corleone. Like, what an ungrateful
Yeah.
piece.
Oh my God, really?
Yep. Yeah, that's why it's part of the reason why I love watching that extended version. It just shows you what an ungrateful person he was after the Don did that favor for what happened to his daughter, and now he's calling in the favor before he knows what it is. He's all bent out of shape and he doesn't want to do it.
Wow.
Oh, it's like, look what they did to my boy.
Yeah.
Famous scene. Yeah.
I can't let his mother see him like this.
Yeah.
Nice one from the Time Prophet from the previous scene.
Oh my gosh.
Nice
Oh
one.
no. Crap.
Moving on. What we did to my boy. Happy times learning to drive.
Yep.
That's
She's like, I can speak English Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm like,
gets it all wrong. Gets in the wrong order. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that's the only time she actually speaks.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Michael gets the sad news.
Yep.
Bad news from New York.
There's the PO's crap.
Fabrizio, yep. Is your wife going with you, boss?
Did he miss a bit here? Sure
No, you
not.
got it right. Yeah, because
Yeah.
he asked Fabrizio asked him if
right, sorry.
Apollonia's going with him. Yeah,
yeah.
and
when-
then
Sorry,
he asked
Bruno.
the other guy, "Where's Apollonia?"
Hail to Wookiee Fever in the chat.
It's like
Quite
she wanted
horrific.
to surprise you.
Fabrizio, where are you going?
It's quite sickening, this, isn't it? You don't even see any gore in you already. You just.
Just
The
dreadful.
scream.
Oh.
It's just such a sudden moment, isn't it? No warning, nothing.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, the closest is like when he sees a dude run away, and he's like, "No, wait!" and boom.
Far too late. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey Brian, can you look at that comment from Time Prophet? The second to last comment.
Right, you can
Sorry.
just for that you can read it out, Ren.
Oh my God. Okay. According to the Time Prophet, apparently Cam Cam was a stuntman in this movie. I'm sorry, Cam Cam.
What?
Oh man.
Cam Cam got in a couple of crashes within the last few months.
Oh no!
Poor guy. He's had a
Oh.
checkered history before that. Cam, he's indestructible. I think he's been rebuilt several
my
times.
goodness.
He's the $6 million
$6 million
man
man.
on a budget.
Good guy.
Wow.
Truly a top man, though, I have to say.
Yeah.
Very nice guy.
Yeah.
Leg sticking out of the car.
Oh man.
And talk amongst yourself again, boys and girls. We have some technical.
Yeah,
I mean, you
didn't
could
spot
see
them.
her leg hanging
Yeah, I
out the
didn't spot
car.
that. I missed it.
Oh, so
Yeah, I missed that.
terrible.
So you can't imagine what it looks like inside there, can you? Oh my
Yeah.
god!
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's what it's done to the car, then
Because she was willing to go to America with her husband. She didn't care. You know?
Yeah.
no. But they do, that is a true tragedy. That, but I can imagine the audience just like clasping their mouths and just a complete universal gasp of breath throughout the cinema watching that scene. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
And then Michael in bed when he wakes up from being knocked unconscious, and he hasn't grasped it yet, and he's just asking for his wife, and then Tomasino has to tell him that she's dead, and then he asks for Fabrizio.
PCat, is this chronology just correct there with these slides? I've put in a new set of slides.
Yeah. This is because Michael's still not officially back, and this is where the meeting of the heads of the 5 families, and they're trying to make peace because the war is still going on. Sonny is dead. What's his name? Not Barzini. The Tatalia. One of the Tatalia's son was killed in the war, which we don't see on screen, and this is where they try to work out the differences.
Now, there were some that were kind of out of order, but that was I think the first or the second set, but these are pretty legit.
Yeah. Because he mentions that at this meeting where Vito says, and he goes, and I have my other son who I'm trying to bring back and get these false charges put away. And this is where he goes, if something should happen to him, even if he's struck by a bolt of lightning, I'm going to blame some of the people in this room.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great
He does not veil that threat at all. He
Yep.
lays it out on the line. And I love that. And they all take him seriously, like, oh shit. Everybody make sure Michael's okay.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, please.
This is where he's telling Tatalia, he goes, vengeance going to bring your son back to you or my son back to me? And this is where he forgoes the vengeance of Sonny.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of did a son for a son thing, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice little bit of group therapy at the end there.
Yeah. Like they do the little hug and it's all okay thing.
Close up.
This is where he figures out that was the meeting where he's telling Tom how he figured out that it was Barzini that killed Sonny.
Yes.
Oh,
Vito.
yeah.
Vito was so great at reading people, and he knew exactly what to think by watching their actions and thinking as they do.
Yep.
Ms. Martin Muses, would you like to read this one out from RRTNZ?
Why, yes, I will. RRTNZ says, Brando really sells that speech, and that I do not forgive. It's great in the book, but Brando really elevates it in the film.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
This is where when he tells Tom in the car that he figures it out, because he's telling him, he goes, when I meet with the Tatalia people, should I tell them that, the drug men and middlemen have clean records? He goes, Barzini will know all about, will know that without being told. He goes, don't you mean Tatalia? And he has that great line. He's like, Tatalia's a pimp.
Yes.
But I didn't know until just now that it was Barzini that had killed Sonny all along.
Oh, I know.
This is the reunion. She finds out he's been back for a year.
I know.
Yep.
I remember being shocked about that because I don't think I'd felt how much time had passed.
So he basically hadn't seen Kay for 2 or 3 years, and then decides to ask her to come back to him.
Yeah.
Why did he wait so long?
Maybe he's waiting for the bruise to heal.
Maybe.
Yeah, metaphorically, I think.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I mean, maybe he was a little messed up by his wife dying, but
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
See, I wonder when he tells Kay, because they don't really show that in this movie, and they don't really mention it in the second one. But in the third one, he tells his son, Anthony, and, Kay knows about it. So when did he tell her about this stuff happening? And why was she okay with being with him if that happened before they got married?
Is it possible? Do you think maybe she didn't know until after they had left each other?
Maybe, and maybe he said, well, this is what happened with me, but they never really say, do they?
No, they never give you an accurate timeline of when she found out.
Yeah. On the other hand, they weren't married, and he was in Sicily, so I mean, it's not like he cheated on her or anything.
But did they really break up though? Because he just said, "I'll see you later." I'm not sure when.
Yeah, that's right. She had no idea when he was going to be back, if he was going to be back, or anything. So.
Yeah.
But as they say, different postcodes and all that.
Yeah. I just feel like if he really loved her, would why? So
he moved on pretty fast.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Now this is the scene where basically the Don is saying, Michael's in charge now. Do what he says. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, because you got Clemenza and you got Tessio. They want to make moves and they want to break away with their own family. And Michael's telling them not till after we make the move to Reno or Vegas.
Yep.
I mean, yeah.
And then they're like, well, what do you think, Don Corleone? He's like, no, Michael's the Don. Listen to Michael.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, there's that piece of garbage.
Yep.
And he was so stupid he thought he'd gotten away with it too.
Yep.
We see you, Carlo.
You're out,
This is
Tom.
what he says. You're okay, Hagen. You're a nice guy, but you're not any use, essentially.
Well, and they don't. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
They don't tell you until the second movie that a lot of this stuff. Not only is he not a war consigliere, but a lot of this stuff was done to protect Tom. And they tell you in part 2, this is the reason why I did this with you. It's to protect you from everything. It's because you're my brother and I love you. And, this is the conversation that Michael has with him. But you don't know that in this movie. And you're just like, dude, what the hell?
I thought part of it was because he wasn't really a member of the family, or at least not a fully fledged member of the family. And that's one of the reasons why they were saying you can't be involved in this.
No, I think it was to protect him because Michael and Vito really loved Tom. Michael was closest with Tom out of all of his siblings.
Yeah. There they are.
And this is PCat.
Making the move to Vegas, seeing all the different hotels. Patty Page. I think there's a Dean Martin.
Yeah, I saw that.
Coming up. Yep, Martin. Yep.
There we go, Dean Martin.
There we go. All the old
before
all the
they
old,
started fighting.
phrases.
Yeah, before their breakup. Yeah, that was in the 50s.
Yeah. I did love their films, incidentally. Not that I'm a big fan of the movies. Years gone by.
Yeah. There we are.
Vegas.
Oh, look at his brother. Oh my gosh.
Freddie's gone up in the world.
I almost didn't recognize him.
Pulling all the bells and whistles out.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like,
Johnny.
get rid of
The
them.
women.
Ladies, leave.
Yeah, he's very serious.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Johnny Fontaine.
And he asks, what's the request he asks of Johnny Fontaine?
Yeah, he wants him to play at the because they're going to be making a move into the casino business, and he wants him to play. I don't know if it was like 2 or 3 times a year, but he wants him to sign a contract, and that's when Fontaine goes, "I'll do anything for my Godfather."
Yeah, he said at least 2 to 3 times a year.
Yeah.
And he wants some of his pals to come in as well.
Mm-hmm.
Which he agrees to. Really? And then
I was
you have
looking
the
at
other side
Fredo
of-
before.
Mo Green.
Yep.
Oh,
Fredo.
a bit of a disagreement.
oh
Now,
yeah,
Mo
that's
Green is
why.
like their version of Sonny, or not Sonny. What's his name? Bugsy Siegel, right?
Yes.
Mm.
Yep. Good one. Good call.
Yeah, he becomes a.
You know who I am?
Yeah, it's like you're dead. That's what you are. That's what you are. Anytime anyone gets fresh with one of these Corleones, you know they're not long for this world.
If stupid Fredo gets involved.
Oh,
Time Prophet in the chat saying Jerry Lewis in The Nutty Professor, which was one of my previous recommends, if you remember, before Scotty completely derailed it that night. Moving on.
Michael tells
This is-
Fredo, never go against the family.
What a great line.
Which almost echoes the line earlier on in the film that the Don does to Sonny. It's funny, halfway through, keep referring to or thinking of Michael as being Sonny because of Dog Day Afternoon.
Mm.
That's his character's name, Sonny. Moving on.
This line, what do you guys think about this? When Kay is telling Michael, you know, Connie wants you to be godfather to their baby, and he's like, "Well, I'll think about it." It's like, wait, your sister wants you to be the godfather to their child, and you're gonna sit and think about it? Like,
Well,
I don't know. That to me, I mean, when I was asked, I didn't have, you know, I don't know, maybe I don't know, it's different, but I was asked by my sister, and like I didn't even have to be asked, like I didn't even have to think about it. It was like the yes came out of my mouth as quick as possible.
well, but that's not about Connie. It's about the fact that Connie's husband had Sonny killed, and he's like, I don't know if I want to be godfather to his child. I think that's what that was about.
yeah. And things are complicated in this family.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
I almost thought it was as if he was weighing up his options as well when he said that.
Yeah. Or maybe there was a double meaning to that. It's like, I'm gonna weigh my. I'll need to think about that. Think about how I
Yeah.
want to do this.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
PCat.
This is where they're just going over. He's giving him like sort of like not a pep talk, but he's warning him on how to deal with the meeting. He says when somebody's going to come up to you to set up a meeting, and whoever that is, that's the traitor in the family.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh
And then
yeah, and here's
sad scene.
Yep.
yeah. He takes a little orange peel or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think this is all ad lib too. I think they just set the camera up and they just let Brando play with the kid.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, and then when he falls over dead and the kid thinks he's playing and laughs.
He's spraying him with
Aw.
the water.
That was gold. That's just one of these things that happens organically, I think.
Yep.
No. There he goes.
No.
The most dysfunctional family. I mean, the poor Mama Corleone, my gosh.
Yeah.
And
Michael
Wayne,
holding it together.
Yep.
He's having a look.
And
Oh, there it
there's the
is.
traitor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is
That's it.
sad because he was one of Vito's most trusted men and he helped him to set up his business.
Yep.
That betrayal is set up in a couple of scenes earlier. He's
Why
wanting
the
to do
hell
the
did
Vegas
he?
thing.
I forget why he betrayed him.
Isn't it because of the Vegas situation? Or them wanting to move?
No,
move quick enough?
he was given a good offer by
Salazzo.
Barzini.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
But
Yeah.
still, it's just like, gosh.
No,
this
I know
person's-
what you mean because like they go back to the I mean, especially when you see in part 2, you get more of that backstory with him and Vito.
Back when they were young, and
Yep.
it's just like, just the whole concept that they will just sell each other out.
Yep. Well, he
Well,
gives
and they
that great
always
line to
say
Tom.
it's just business.
Yeah, that's the
You know?
scene right here.
Sorry.
Yep. Yeah, because that's when Hagen goes, I always thought it would have been Clemenza. And Michael goes, it's the smart move. Tessio was always smarter.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here we go.
And this is
Well,
the
this whole
Christmas-
idea, they're sitting there at each other's funerals, and I'm just plotting to kill half the people here. Yeah, this is such an iconic scene. My gosh.
This is going to sound bad, but when I was the godfather to my niece, and I was up, and then they had me holding my niece for, when the priest was given the rites or whatever, and some of the same lines word for word, and I cracked up a little bit. And and then when I came back, they, of course, they're like, you were thinking The Godfather, weren't you? I was like, I couldn't help it.
I know. Every time there's a baptism, and the priest's like, "Do you reject Satan and all his works?" And it's like, I do. And then I imagine that organ music, da da da, and then you see someone getting shot somewhere.
Oh my god!
It never fails, never. Even like on Easter when we're all renewing our baptism vows, and I'm just like, don't laugh, don't laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
But those kills are brutal. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is him laying down his new regime.
Hey, what'd you give me a ticket for? It's like, well. Speaking of which, there's the rose box or whatever. I
Yep.
got flowers for you.
Yep, there it is. With the shotgun in it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a kill. This one, and then the blood comes out of his eye.
Oh, yeah.
As a kid, I loved that. I just loved the effect of it as a kid.
Yeah.
I wonder how they did that with the glass breaking without damaging the guy.
Yeah.
Very clever.
Yeah.
Boom.
Oh, there we are.
Yep.
Yeah. That would
Who's
suck,
next?
though. Oh, yeah, the guy stuck in the revolving door.
Yeah. That's Willie Cheech. I think that's Willie Cheech killing him there.
Yeah. Sucks that it'd go from a massage to that. Just saying.
Yeah.
All relaxed.
You got the pop, but the wrong kind.
Listening to new age music or whatever.
Yeah,
I
but you're
don't know.
vulnerable because you're all naked and shit, you know?
Now, this one, I always felt bad for the chick because, like, she didn't do anything. She just happened to be sleeping with the dude.
Yeah.
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 That shows you how ruthless they are, though.
Yeah. It's like collateral damage. Oh, there we go. Boom.
Yeah, even the driver, too. I mean, because he did. I mean, the guy's a driver. He's really not doing anything. But he's done, too.
No witnesses, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you just don't work for a mafia.
This guy was a bit of a scenery tour, a bit overly dramatic with his
Oh,
pointing a gun.
yep. Al Neri.
Oh, there we go.
Stitch that.
Yeah, that's
Well,
the
it
guy
also
that-
shows how ironic it is, the fact that he's making all these vows and then he rejects the glamour of evil and all this, as obviously he is not.
Juxtaposition.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, nicely done. And well noticed.
There we go.
Another one. Bites the dust. Jesus. Anyone count the number of bodies that went in this scene alone?
I know.
I know, right?
The 1, 2, counting the hookers. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Minimum
6,
of
7?
5, so you got at least 7. Yeah.
I think
With the
7.
5 families, and then, like I said, the hooker and the bodyguard or the driver.
Was this film like at all controversial when it first came out? Because it's, you know, I can imagine audiences being quite sensitive to violence back then. But I mean, today you'd never get away with it because of wokeness. But you know, back then it was violent movies weren't, you know, that graphic, and this is pretty graphic for that time, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, it was one of the first. I think one of the first really graphic ones. Like once the censorship rules changed.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Late
I asked my
60s.
folks.
Early 70s, yeah.
Hail to Scotty in the chat there.
Nothing about the Godfather, and he's just going. It's done.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yep.
like, okay, let's go get some baptism cake or whatever. Yeah. Well, you know what I mean, like those white cakes you have, at the reception. Yeah.
One little loose end to tie up.
Yep.
More ways than one.
Yep. And he
Or
waits
two.
until right after the baptism, pretty much, to kill off his brother-in-law.
Oh,
Yep.
and his friend.
Yeah.
There's
Michael's going to
Tessio.
go in another car. He'll meet us there.
Yeah, and that's when he knows he's fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's
Great
like, it was
lines.
just business. It was just business.
Mm-hmm.
Get me off of this for old time's sake? No, I don't
No.
think so.
Can't do it.
Can't do it, Sally.
Just
Fuck
so
you,
matter of
Sally.
fact.
That's an Oblivion quote there. Sorry, never mind. Moving on.
Yeah.
And if he goes to be dispatched,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Time to pay for Sonny or whatever he tells him.
Yep. Get an answer for Sonny.
Oh yeah, look at that, and he's always, oh fuck, another opa.
And he does a good job of fooling him, because he's like, oh my God, you're going to kill me. He's like, now would I leave my nephew a bastard? Or my sister's
An
kid's
orphan,
A widow,
yeah. And
yeah.
it's like, I'm godfather to your son.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, okay.
Brando helped him out with that scene too, actually. From their rocky start to by the end of filming, Brando sat with them and helped him go over how to pull the scene off.
Wow.
did he? There he goes. Throttled.
I love
Yeah.
when he looks and he sees Clemenza, and Clemenza goes, "Hello, Carlo."
Yes. You piece of shit.
It's like, oh crap.
It's like garbage.
last
I kicked out the windows with his
Yeah,
feet.
flying kick to the glass.
Look at him. They're just sitting there watching. Oh, yeah. Connie then comes. Yeah. Like, you killed my husband. It's like, well, your husband was a piece of garbage. Cheaper than a
Yep.
divorce.
Yeah.
It's another example of that strange compassion they seem to use after doing something horrendous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Unsettling again.
It's just awful, because like the way he treats Kay, she's like, did you do that? He's like, enough. You are not to ask me about my business.
Mhm.
This is the one chance you get to ask me. That's it.
Yeah. And then he lies.
Yep.
She's all relieved.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you watch her watching him, it's like, okay, wait, was he telling me the truth?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a
and then-
great shot there. On the,
Yeah. And the ending, just the way it ends is just amazing.
Don Corleone.
Yeah.
he's officially,
Nice.
he's the man.
Slowly close the door. Oh, he didn't have that. Dag nabbit! That's the
I was
one.
gonna say.
That's the one line I wanted to see. When
Oh,
you just
Brown!
we see Kay, with the door being closed on her.
You know, he
That's
got
okay.
all the shots but that one. Good.
He got
Brown.
the most important shot during Christmas where we saw the figurines of Santa and Mrs. Claus.
Yeah. Thanks.
Just
left out the
hey,
boobies.
come on, let's give him a break.
Yeah. To Brown's credit, as much as we enjoy holding his feet to the fire, he does this for us almost every
Yeah.
I know.
single week.
Oh,
It
that's a
takes
lot
hell
of work.
of a time.
Holy cow!
But we still have to give him crap from time to time, because it's just what we do.
Yes. Yes, we do.
Well, he's vegan, so you know.
Yeah, there you go.
Amazing.
Justified.
Yeah.
And the
Ah, we love you,
soundtrack was
Brown.
done by Coppola too, wasn't it? Or at least a relative.
Yeah.
Carmine Coppola.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe this is his father, right?
Could be.
Yeah, I believe
I don't
so.
know. The whole friggin' family's in this movie. I mean, just like the mob, it's a family business.
Yeah.
Hollywood mob, yeah.
Well, and then Sophia, somebody brought this up, and I don't know if this is true or not, but they said that Sophia played the baby during the baptism.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So
That's
that's
right.
interesting. Yep. I know she played the Michael's daughter in number 3, but I did not know she played the baby. So
yeah,
Does she get paid as a baby? I wonder.
probably not.
No, yeah. She didn't take direction or. Oh, boy, and it'd be easier to just use your own damn kid instead of having to do all that paperwork for child actors and all that.
True.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. It's my own. Let her sit there and be miserable.
Yeah. It's my daughter.
She's
She'll
not gonna
learn to live with
remember
it.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, in the movie it was supposed to be Winona Ryder, but she got sick.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's one of those great sad tragedies because I think she would have done much better.
Yeah, it was like a fatal. That was like a real major fatal flaw. That and I just couldn't take the whole cousins falling in love in part 3. It was just
that was
cringe.
Me out.
It was really cringe.
Yeah, they should have not had him related or have there be another forbidden romance.
Yeah.
I'm just not into incest. It's just, well, technically
it's gross.
Yeah, it's gross. I mean, technically it's not considered incest the way siblings are.
No, but still, it's your cousin.
Yeah. Well, technically it was her first cousin.
I still wouldn't do it. No, I'm just saying.
It was gross. And then the whole line when he's like, "It's your cousin, your first cousin." She goes, "Well, then I love him first." And I'm like,
oh God.
It's like, that doesn't make it any better, Mary.
Yeah.
Okay, before we say goodbye, can you each give us a little quick summary of The Godfather? And have you changed your mind about anything since we get through the slides and heard the input from other people? I'll ask PCat first, that question.
This for me, it's like movie perfection. I never grow old of this. I've seeing it from such a young kid, just like, getting sucked into the story, but, not fully understanding as a kid, but as I grow old and just watching it several times each year and never getting tired of it. I mean, I apologize for talking too much during this. It's just, it's any chance to talk about how much I love this movie, and I could just sit and watch the movie and just by myself and just blurt out the lines as they come along by myself and you know what? If this movie's on after this stream is over and I happen to find it on TV, guess what? I would sit and watch the whole thing again.
Yeah.
It's one that, whenever it's on repeat, you just sit and watch it. It's what must be done.
Matt, your take?
I've very much enjoyed what I've seen of it so far. It's very unlike a film that I would really go for, to be honest with you, because it's not the most action-packed and fast-paced and otherworldly, it's and fantasy based. This is almost historic. It's almost sort of it's almost a kind of a dramatized documentary on real life, with mafia families. So it's kind of very unlike anything that I'd go for. But I mean, it just goes to show that I can appreciate things that I wouldn't normally think I'd appreciate. But I've just generally really enjoyed it, even though it's not the sort of thing I'd watch at all, not the sort of thing I would go to the cinema and see.
Yeah.
But, all those years I spent going, oh, no, I'm not into that kind of like boring gangster stuff, But, I guess the older you get, the more refined your tastes get, and you appreciate different things and stuff. And I can totally see what people see in it and why it's such a massively appreciated film and revered as a masterpiece. And I'm going to go and finish it off, and I'm going to see part 2 not long afterwards, because I'll be in the mood of that kind of world and watching those kind of embroiled in that kind of the organized crime dramatization. So definitely want to see the second one afterwards. So it may have switched on a new appreciation for that kind of genre for me. So always a good thing, I think.
That's the one thing about this show. It kind of, especially if you're a guest, it forces you to watch films you wouldn't necessarily watch. And I've enjoyed several of them so far. So,
Brian, can you highlight that latest comment from Mr. Brown?
Oh.
So
Frame it, put it on a wall.
So I don't know if you guys know this, but I really had to push him pretty hard to do this movie and to watch it. And I'm so glad that that he said that. So that makes me happy. I'm glad he liked it. Yay!
I'll make
Sorry.
sure we all put this in our calendars too. So when the anniversary of this comes up, we'll give ourselves a calendar alert. Mr. Brown admits Reni was right.
That's
just
right.
not about Lord of the Rings.
We'll get him.
Yeah.
Damn Russians.
Ms. Martin Muses, can you give us a couple of sentences or even a paragraph about The Godfather before we go?
Well, it's a masterpiece. There are very few movies that you can say are absolutely flawless, where there's not one scene, one moment, one performance that is absolute perfection. The Godfather is one of them.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how much time goes by. You can watch this over and over and over again and still enjoy it and still get something out of it. And I also like the way it's not heavy-handed. They never sit and tell us how we're supposed to feel about these people, how we're supposed to feel about how the story unfolds. It just presents it to us and lets us be grown-ups as we watch it.
It's not judgmental, which is what's missing with a lot of stuff today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point. Reni?
Yeah, I agree with everything that everyone said. Even the scenes that are cringe because the acting is so good, because the direction is so good, because the cinematography and the score, it just all works together perfectly. I will apologize for neglecting to mute my mic at the right times earlier when I was munching because I was really hungry.
Oh, it's okay.
Well, I saw Mr. Angel's comment and I'm like, oh God, I feel so bad. But yeah, Matt, I will tell you, the second movie is very different but very similar. But I think you'll like, if you do move on to number 2, seeing young Vito rise to power.
Yeah.
Paralleled with Michael. So it's kind of interesting, and I really like it. There is a version, like PCat had said, where they show all of Vito's story than all of Michael's. But I think sometimes it's more important to kind of watch the scenes just kind of intercut, like originally planned. But I really do think you'll like it.
Excellent. Yeah. Can't wait. Because so many people regard number 2 as the best film ever made, don't they? So
see, that's the thing. So some people prefer number 1 better, and some people prefer number 2. I think number 2 has the better reputation, but I prefer number 1. So it just really depends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 2 is definitely the best sequel ever made.
Yes.
Yeah. Now that is correct.
So it's only Demon and myself who haven't seen part 2.
So next week, Brown, is that what we're doing?
Well, makes sense. Well, it's either that or Rise of Skywalker, so take your pick.
Oh, hell to the no on Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, gosh, no.
Okay, folks, I think on that note, we'll wrap up the show. Firstly, thanks to the chat and our viewers this evening. As Brown would say, we are nothing without the chat. To the guests, a very big thank you for your attendance and again for some superb contributions. PCat, thank you very much.
It was an honor, and like I said, I'm still excited, and I'm still going to be excited after this is over, just being able to talk about this with all you.
Yep, top drawer tonight, mate, and you helped us through that big time. Okay, doc. Matt, thank you.
You're welcome, my friend.
Oh my God.
You honor my family by inviting me on.
This is Martin Muses' first time streaming with you. It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, well, thank you. I enjoyed myself. It's always good, and it was definitely experience, especially the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, a bit of a shaky start, so apologies for that, folks. We got there in the end, I think.
Yeah, it all ends up where you finish, right?
Yeah. Reni, thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Thanks for hosting. I know we got off to a little bit of a glitch or a hiccup, but all turned out okay. I will also apologize to the rest of the panel for my excitement and just blurting stuff out a lot. So if I interrupted anybody, I'm really sorry. I get very excitable about this movie, kind of like PCat. So nothing personal to anyone.
That's great.
Okay, finally, a massive thank you to the absent Mr. Brown for giving me the honour of presenting his show this evening. It was almost a completely car crash and disaster before it started, but we, as I said, we got there in the end. We truly wish Mr. Brown well at this difficult time for him. Okay, so enjoy the rest of your weekend, folks. I hope it's a good one. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Night.
Good night.
Yeah.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
Yeah.